that's him 100%. I mean, without me hearing his voice, I'm like, it's unconfirmed. But if you got friends that knew him and grew up with him saying it's confirmed, then I gotta say, hey, yeah, this is probably Brian Koberger. But I did send it into the FBI. I did clip that. I also went through 80,000 phone calls, found the number, sent it into the FBI as well, and they have that, and hopefully they get down to that information.
Good. Do you know that they are in receipt of it? Did they come back to you at all?
I know they have it. I've never got an email back yet.
What is going on, Rev Games family? Welcome to another stream. I told you I would be live again today, and yes, we will be having some more discussion. My favorite show, Rhonda. Thank you. I appreciate you coming by. Rhonda in the building. Janet, Gypsy, Weston. I see you. Sandra, Ruth, Diana, Susan, Detective Puff Puff. Thank you. I appreciate that. She said, "Love the new beginning of the stream." I appreciate the love on that. Thank you. Again, my wife has a seminar for you, and before we get on with the show, my wife is, first. She always is first. She speaks for me very well. A lot of people hate on her and stuff like that, but I've been married to her for 15 years now, and it just is what it is. I appreciate that, Ruth. What is true is going on. The other Aaron, nice to see you. Okie Angel. Who else we got in here? Just Susie's Thoughts. Welcome. Christy Blue, Fallen Angel, Maria, Michelle Mouse, Sherry Riker. Hopefully I said that right. Cold as Ice, Teresa. Hey, it's in the evidence. What's going on? Discord, check VIP for everybody who's joining up. Check VIP. Karma, what's going on? Cardiologist, what's going on? Yo, T-REV, Vegas in the house. Shout out to Vegas in the house. What is 11 there right now? Is it 11 o'clock in Vegas? What's going on? Combat Vet. Say hey, T-REV in chat, listening and running my FedEx route. We got FedEx in the building. I see you listening at work again. Keep it going, Trev. Appreciate you coming back. Strange Exchange. Congratulations on the 15 years. Yeah, me and Nancy been married for 15 years. We had our table out there at Idaho 4 on the spot. First live I've caught in a while, says Marie. I remember that name. I remember seeing you around. That's 100% facts. KC, what's going on? Welcome. I wonder if any of these kids have seen Scream Queens. My daughter showed me this show. Gives me those vibes. Scream Queens. What's Scream Queens? I don't know. As far as I checked, that was a male. Love the name. Strange Exchange. Hey, T-REV in chat. What's going on? Maria, Jennifer, thank you. I appreciate you coming by. Make sure you guys hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure you smash that notification bell. We are going to open up some discussions here, and we're going to get it going. And I'm going to have some guests on today, but it's going to be some, special guests. And as far as I know, it ain't Detective John. So if you think it's Detective John, bing bong, you're wrong. Let's see. Let me read some more. What comments we got coming in? Okay, I see you. Josie what's going on? Welcome. All right, housewife. What is that? Rhode Island housewife? Or I probably butchered that shit. Oh my God, love Scream Queens. Definitely feeling those vibes as well. I absolutely love Scream Queens. Such a good show. I don't know. I've never heard of it. So maybe I need to check it out. Bruce Rivers? Come on. I need Bruce Rivers on here. What, Sos? Sosa's already like, give me a treat, dude. Here. That's for being a good boy. He didn't get his going outside treat or his going outside treat, so he's mad at me. He's over here pawing me. Bang bong, John is gone. Midwest girl says, Andy Libby, what's going on? Lollipops, welcome. I appreciate you coming by. Oh my God.
Ryan Koberger, now charged in the slate of 4.
Has anybody, if you've seen this video, hit 1. I'm gonna play this until my guests get here. Once my guests get here, we're gonna get things started. We're gonna get this conversation started. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna jump in deep. I know a lot of everybody who's coming up here today has taken their notes on this case and definitely want to have an open discussion. So we will be having that here today.
University of Idaho students. The big question right
Damn,
now
Barbara,
is,
what's going on? Welcome.
How did he turn into the monster prosecutors say he is?
What's up, Jeff?
Looking at a string of alleged incidents all the way back to allegedly stalking some of the Idaho 4 via digital, via social, in months leading up to their murders, seeking them out online, at least one, if not more, of the girls on King Road. How did he find them? Did he somehow run into them when he was there, finding an apartment or touring campus there at WSU, Washington State University? Is that when their paths collided? Did they know they were being watched? Did they ever read his emails he sent introducing him?
Now, I know a lot of people haven't seen that Dateline episode that we talked about a while ago, but this is what she's talking about. She's talking about the whole, this woman had, instead of calling the police, she called Brian Koberger. Brian Koberger allegedly set up the cameras in her apartment. He had the password. He had access to her cameras. Now, this is what was put out. Now, have we yet to see that on paper? No. I mean, but it's being heavily reported that that is the case. So do we believe that? Do we take it as at face value from the Dateline reports, from Nancy covering it? Do we take it at face value or do we not? What's your opinion on that? Do you guys believe the reports being put out by Dateline, now Nancy, and other people also? I know multiple people have covered it, but the first day that Dateline came out, we talked about this heavily in Discord. So I'm just curious to if anybody else believes it or do you got to see it? What's going on, Low 12? Welcome to the stream. I appreciate you coming by. Texas Angel, Angela, what's going on? Gold Dust Woman, thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you. Let's see, Doozy says, yeah, Gypsy. Let me go down to some more comments here. So hold up. Definitely, he only just moved to the area 3 months before the murders from the other end of the country. Very short amount of time to meet them and become assessed, in my opinion. Definitely maybe says. So definitely maybe then. I believe Dateline. So glad I caught this live, says LJD3. Thank you for coming by. I appreciate you.
Himself or trying to hook up with them? Or did it go into a spam folder? Then we have the incident where he allegedly went into a female colleague's home there at Washington State University and moved things around in her apartment, manipulating her into coming to him and saying, oh, my stars, guess what happened? Some freak's been in my apartment. And then he swoops in like the savior and sets up her Wi-Fi, finding out the password and security system so he can spy on her remote, even from his phone whenever he felt like it. I mean, what kind of a kick do you get from watching somebody else watching TV or doing the dishes?
How many percent believe it?
Doing her hair or
She says, how many percent believe it? And it also fits with a behavior of stalker. That's a good, I mean, maybe we should do a poll on it. Maybe we should do a poll on it. I see right now, I want to see what the poll results are looking like. So if you just came in, make sure you get your votes in. Will BK face the death penalty? Do you think that he will face the death penalty? Our selections here, yes, I really think he will. No, they do not have enough. It depends on how much they have. And then 50-50, who knows? Right now, 48% of you out of 192 think he will face the death penalty. That's a touchy subject when it comes to the death penalty. If that's true, the sources violated the gag order, and this is why I'm waiting for trial. Yeah, I mean, but they got to find out who those sources are, right? Can't just go around speculating on who told who what, right? I mean, as far as the courts can't just go, yeah, well, I speculated that Judge went and told Nancy Grace, and or not Judge, but I'm just making up something in my head. It's not true. I'm just saying in general. They can't speculate, well, this came from the prosecutor or this, who, the defense team or the sister, the brother, the mother of anybody that's in this case in general. They can't speculate on who said it. If that's true, okay, I just read that. I said it depends on what they got. Definitely. Dateline, full of sources. Don't believe them for a minute. Years back, I thought they were credible. So where did they go wrong with you, Cold as Ice? Where did they go wrong? What case? I'd love to check into that because I've been watching Dateline for years. But definitely would love to see what you're talking about if they did get something messed up. I definitely believe Dateline. Michelle says depends on the prosecutor. Gypsy says true Santa don't have good track record with their DP. I still think there's way more to the story than drugs involved. So Protected, you think there's drugs involved somehow, somewhere in this whole ordeal. You think there's drugs involved. I can respect that just for the fact that it's a college house. And what do college kids do? They get drunk, they do stuff, they, or get high, smoke weed, which weed really ain't shit in my book, but that's me. For weed is the worst thing for some people. But I do believe Dateline. Well, then if it hasn't come from law enforcement, it's not true. And that's how we got to look at it, because it's flat out that way. Even if something is out there, if it's real true, I guess they'll put it there. I don't know. We got to see. Shit plays out so weird in the day and age that we live in my opinion. Midwest girl, thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you.
The Lord only knows what else he watched.
Wish we knew more about the source.
Did he install more cameras than what she knows about? Then we have another alleged incident where a neighbor of the King Road victims, the 4 victims, Maddie, Xana, Kelly, and Ethan, that has items taken out of a suitcase, which was in her car, and the underwear shoved into the door, the car door, around the time of the murders, leading up to the murders. What else is there? Is there more? Joining me right now is
all right, Nancy. I mean, come on. I love listening to its full entirety, but we need to get to the meat and potatoes.
System which we brought over from Great Britain. Don't ever come within the jurors' purview. They never know about them. That said, if a prior bad act, be it a conviction or no, it doesn't have to be a conviction.
Come on, get to it.
If a prior act shows modus operandi, method of operation, course of conduct, scheme, frame of mind, then it can come in. But
Public house landlord, what's going on? Welcome.
Ever come in before a jury. I want to talk to you about
nice
why.
To see you.
And remember, the prosecution doesn't have to prove why.
Priestess campaign, what's going on?
Doesn't matter why. So let me ask you, Dr. Bethany, why? Let's just start at the beginning. Let's start with the case in chief.
Well, I think the question of why is so important, perhaps not from a legal perspective, but I think from a psychological perspective for your listeners and for us in society to understand what motivates the Brian Kobergers of this world.
That's a good question. She said, Michelle says, didn't that incident occur before he got to WSU, like in May or so? I don't want to jump the gun and say it did because I've heard it multiple times, but the only thing that it's imprinted in my head is allegedly he set up cameras in this girl's house. Now I think it's in Washington, but if I'm wrong, smack me in the comments.
So when a patient comes into my office, I try to identify what's called an organizing principle for their personality. Once you know what the organizing principle is, then all of the other behaviors begin to make sense. I would say that Brian Koberger's organizing principle is that he is a sex predator, right? That's fairly obvious at this point. And that there is a pattern to the predation that's beginning to play out in all these various incidences that you're describing, which I think will be fascinating to unpack. But we see spying on an unsuspecting victim. That tells me that he has something called scoptophilia.
Well, let me write that down. And what are you saying?
Scoptophilia, SCOPTOPHILIA. It's a fancy word for a peeping Tom. It's the least of everything that's going on.
Okay, hold on, Dr. Bethany. Being just a JD, not a psychoanalyst like you, helping all those poor, pitiful people on Rodeo.
Hold up, but that was the report, though. If we go back and look, right, I'm pretty sure the report was it was found in the cup holder, not the side of the door.
Drive with all their problems.
I also think others are involved.
I know this, and again, it's anecdotal. It is.
So, I'm gonna pause it again. We think others are involved, but yet, if others were involved, we don't think that somebody would be talking by now. So, are we saying that people got more? Are we saying that allegedly white collar this is what people break them down to be? They're white collar people. So we're saying that they got more integrity on not snitching than these gangsters out here that are turning on each other, gang, bang, bang. You know what I mean? Throwing up gang shit and then snitching on each other in a cell. So we're thinking that there's more involved and these people are more thorough that they won't snitch on each other or you know what I mean? I don't know. I find that hard to believe that people don't snitch, especially in that type of area. And that's just my opinion, but I've seen the craziest people fold on each other. Hold up. Delana, what's going on? Delana, you can hear me?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Perfect.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Yeah. This is my first time on StreamYard. I didn't know how to work that.
You can hear me, though? You're good?
Yep, I'm good. I can hear you.
Bet. So, let's see. Hold on. T-REV and chatters. What's up, PJ? Welcome. Tootsie Roll. Thank you for coming by. I appreciate you. Where is this girl? If she confirming all these? Now, that would be my personal opinion. I mean, in case the source is coming from the person and they have record and they showed somebody, then I mean, that's what I'm assuming, but that's kind of what I assumed from when I first heard it. I was like, well, really the person that it happened to would come forward and show, hey, you know, this is who set it up. But could you really show record that, hey, he set it up in case you got his phone number or whatever? I mean, what do you think about that, Delana? Like, as far as the cameras being set up in this girl's apartment, allegedly.
Well, I mean, I just know what they said about that. And that was the first time we heard that was on Dateline, I think. So, but that would be a pretty big story to just make up, you know. So I feel like Dateline is credible. So I mean, I tend to believe it. And I do think, like I said yesterday in my phone call, it would be just another part of his pattern that he's developed. I think we'll know all that pattern, all these things that he had done prior, building up to these 4 kids' lives being taken. I think we'll know that in court, and they'll paint a picture of it and fill in the pieces for us, you know?
Yeah, this shit is, I don't know. I mean, as far as to, I don't know. I just, with them saying that on Dateline and knowing how broad the audience is on Dateline, it kind of blew my mind when they said it on there. When they said, "Oh, well, he set up cameras in this girl's apartment." Well, she didn't call the police; she called Kohlberger. They had the full story, so it's like you don't just get a full story like that from no one. I mean, I feel like it would be directly from that person.
Right. I don't feel like they would like jeopardize their reputation over some false allegation. And if, you know, in that affidavit, sealing everything, sealing all the documents and stuff, you know, it was to protect other people, you know, the surviving witnesses and law enforcement in the community. But wonder if it was to protect this lady as well, because once she figured out, hey, this guy did this to me, and they put the pieces together, they probably want to protect her as well, you know, or other victims that they may have, victims of some kind of sexual crimes that they may have discovered while processing his apartment in Washington.
Now, that's a question that I had too. Would that be breaking a gag order, talking about something totally separate from the Idaho 4, like setting up cameras? That's something that I thought about also when it comes to that type of information being put out.
Yeah, I don't know if those people would be under that gag order specifically, but I'm not sure about the answer to that, actually. But I would think that they wouldn't be. I mean, there's all kinds of people that have talked about him anyway. They're not under gag orders, whether it was the creepy date, the Tinder date, or you know, some of his classmates from before. Like, they've all spoke. They're not under a gag order, so I don't know.
Idaho is not Chicago. You got that right, Carolina. That definitely ain't. I'm just saying in general, though, like I mean, I get where people can say others involved, but I just don't, to be honest with you. And it's possible. I'm not saying it's not possible, but I'm saying for the chances of somebody holding out and keeping someone from being put in prison while they're sitting about to go face a death penalty, possibly going to face a death penalty, to sit quiet and you have other people that helped you. I just don't. It just doesn't register with me, because people rat each other out when it comes to. I mean, you're talking about your life is on the line.
Right.
That's just how I feel about it. I mean, personally, I get where people say others involved, but it's like, do we really think that somebody is going to sit there silent and let their ass go face the fucking death penalty? Allegedly, maybe, possibly. It's a possibility that he faces it. I'm not saying he is, because it hasn't really been reported that he's facing it, but it's a chance that he does. So if there was somebody that helped him, we really think he's going to sit silent and go fight death by himself, when he could just say, well, you know, this person or that, or maybe he's waiting. I mean, or people can fight and argue and say maybe he's waiting to see the evidence, or maybe this, that, and the third, or he's not even the person. So I mean, I get all angles, but in general, I just don't see somebody sitting quiet if they had somebody, that accomplice, that helped them.
Oh, I agree. Not when your life is on the line like that. If you're truly not responsible for something like that, I mean, that's a heinous crime. Why would you sit there in silence? I'd be shouting from a rooftop if it wasn't me. I'd tell on you. You know?
That's what I'm saying. People, I'm not fighting death for nobody. Especially if I wasn't the person, say I was like the driver or something and somebody ran back out. Like, I'm not about to go fight death for you.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's the
And
part
we
that
haven't
I
heard
don't get.
anything else about anybody else involved. I mean, there's been no one else charged with it or arrested as an accomplice or anything.
Right.
And there's nothing in the PCA about another person. I mean, so
There's,
yeah.
you got all those conspiracies and shit that are out there, but there's no connection. I haven't seen a connection, and I've gotten crazy ass emails, and I could show them literally. Somebody just hit me up last night and said, "Oh, I mean, it's so long, I couldn't just repeat it off the top, but I mean, I could literally start reading the shit that I get in emails, and I know it's the same stuff that everybody else gets because they cover the same shit."
Oh, right. Yeah, I'm sure you have hundreds and hundreds of emails with all kinds of theories. And that's fine. I mean, you have a great platform for letting people speak their mind and um, speculating and theorizing or whatever, and respectfully. So, that's a great way for people to be able to talk about the case and what they found through their discoveries. Yeah,
See,
I
they're
go
not
I go
saying,
by what I look at, though.
right. They're not saying it to be, but they're not. I promise you, I swear, when I read this email, they're not saying this is their theory. They're saying that this is a fact. And I get those emails all the time where these people are saying, I know this to be 100% fact. But it's like, how do you, and if I put all of those together, there's no way that all 40 of these emails are fact when they're all different. You know what I mean? They're like, it's wild the amount of emails that you get when you're a creator and you're covering something, especially with this high profile. I mean, I covered Kylie Rodney, I covered a couple others, and I've never got anything to the amount of what I've got with this. Never. This is I get the craziest shit sent to me.
Oh, I'm surprised. I would have thought you would have had more with Kylie Rodney. That surprises me, actually.
I get the crazy. Hollis, you got an echo. A little bit.
I know. I turned it down. I didn't realize I didn't click enter the studio.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
So I figured it out.
Too fancy for Nancy cup holders. See, she just makes it up. Imagination runs away with her. People will snitch. And in my opinion, there is a video of the cup holder girl reporting it to law enforcement in Moscow. That says Maxine Brock. The panty incident happened March 2022. Koberger moved to Washington in August 2022. Okay, so the panty incident. Yeah, so that wouldn't even, you would have to count him out of that. If he could view her cam, I bet he saved videos. I mean, there might be evidence of that. There could be evidence of that. We don't know. I don't know that to be 100% fact at all.
Yeah, I don't know about that panty incident. Someone mentioned like it was might have been a fraternity prank. That sounds kind of like a fraternity prank, but then again, like it wouldn't surprise me if it was Brian being weird. It'd be interesting to know.
Who is this girl not showing Brian and hers text out? Hold on, what? Why is this girl not showing Brian's and hers text about the help she needed or in general? I mean, that's a fair question. It's 100% a fair question. Maybe she's scared. I mean, I can't answer for her though. I can speculate what it would possibly be, but I could be so wrong, and probably am wrong. Xana and Ethan were dead before Kaylee and Maddie got home, is what I'm hearing. Let's see, where we at here?
That is true. I just read in the PCA, it says that they were looking at the crimes from August 21st of 2022 to November. So that would leave that panty incident at the neighbor's out, I guess.
Oh, you're talking, okay, so that would debunk Brian possibly being part of going into that girl's car and messing with the panty shit. So there, I mean, if that's true, that's debunked.
Yeah, because it says August 21 in the PCA. So
What?
That
Okay,
makes
so
sense, Delana.
what do you guys think about this? Why are people dismissing Jack's comment? They are going to get you for this. He didn't say he is going to get you. He said they are going to get you. A couple hours later, it happened. I don't know. My thoughts on that. I mean, we really don't even know what they were talking about. They're going to get you for this. I mean, is that what was really said to its full entirety? And what that it could mean so many different things.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
It could mean so many different things, to be honest with you.
Was it supposed to be that Kaylee wanted to get back with Jack? I mean, I know that the Gonsalves family kind of said that, insinuated that, and I know she like drunk dialed him all night long or whatever, but were they gonna get back? I don't know what Maddie told Adam. Maybe Maddie told Adam they wanted to get back. She told him everything.
I heard multiple different things.
You know, but then I don't know why someone would respond with, well, they're going to get you for that. None of that makes sense to me, really. I need more context of what they were talking about.
I bet Kaylee's family knows what they said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or
probably.
what Adam said and what that discussion was about. I bet they
So
know.
do y'all think Adam will be put on the stand then to testify what all that was?
I do.
Because I kind of think
that would make sense because it's brought up so much. I mean, but if it doesn't have anything to do with the case, why would he even be on the stand? But I mean, it is talked about on the camera when walking. So I mean, who knows? Who knows if
you know what it is? I'm sure they're going to use all those video footages after the Corner Club when they left. And when they introduce that, then that's going to introduce Adam into maybe having to testify. Because once they introduce Adam into it, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but I would think that would then bring Adam up for being a witness, possibly, as to what was being said in that scenario. Regina,
I would think Adam would be up for being a witness because he was at the Corner Club. So it started there for him, you know.
Hey guys,
you're right.
Karma!
What's up?
What's going on, Karma? Thank you, Alice. I appreciate you. Thank you, Trev, for all you do, and hugs for Sosa.
Oh yeah, Karma.
Hey, Hollis. Hey, Delana.
Hi. I'm doing great, Karma.
Hi, Karma.
Alice, thank you. And in no coworker incident is there a corroborating police report. I don't think there was a police report with this incident, though, with the whole camera setup, correct?
I bet there is now.
But I'm saying, though, beforehand.
Maybe that's how come we're hearing about it.
If that's the case, where did it now? The location that happened at, the alleged camera incident, WSU?
It was a colleague. They said it was a colleague of Brian, so that would make me think WSU, yes. And also, you know, it could very well be that that person did not even know that had actually occurred until after Brian was arrested, and then she got freaked out, like, wonder if this guy's watching me or something. Maybe she didn't even know until that time after his arrest, and was unaware of it. You know, that tipped her off or something.
That's pretty creepy, right?
Yeah, it's really creepy.
I kind of wonder if some of that 51 terabytes is probably all the footage he has of her. I mean, included in all of that.
Yeah, that crossed my mind as well.
Right,
it seems
Karma?
like a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
That could easily be recorded videos that he had of potential victims or just people who he was spying on.
I agree with that, Karma.
What is that? How that Bernice said This was drug related and more than one car involved. The PCA proves that with 2 white cars, one by Linda Lane. Camera might be the same on gas station, but BK was by Kopeka's at that time, the white car. So much what Kopeka brought up in this. Doesn't make sense. Brian could be singing right now. Brian could be singing right now for all we know. But if somebody was arrested, we would know about it.
Yeah, if there was a drug connection, that would have been ratted out by Demetrius and Emma by now, for sure. Right?
Say there's an arrest made on this case for somebody else, and they helped, so they're accomplice. Are they would be, that would be announced. We would get. I'm telling you, that would be announced that another arrest was made in the Idaho 4 case. Gag order or not, I feel like that would definitely be announced. But hey, I mean, I guess I could learn something new every day.
That would have to be, but I just don't understand how people think. I mean, this isn't like Scarface, you know? I mean, I don't understand the drug connection. There's not, college kids don't have a lot of money to spend on drugs. They're scraping it together, and you know what they're doing is just dibbling and dabbling. It's not like cartel, like snitching, like huge. You know, I think sometimes people might get into this little fantasy land or this little movie world that they want to just keep creating characters and just making it more interesting for themselves. But I don't think the drug level would have been on that extensive of a level, or you know, it would have been a big FBI sting and all of this stuff. A lot of people would have gone down in that whole area. I don't think drugs have anything to do with a psychopath coming in and annihilating 4 young kids.
You know that I do think that it's saying suspect vehicle number 1 like that. I mean, it does put confusion in the air. So is there a suspect vehicle number 2? I get where people come up with that, and that's a question that I still kind of ask, because why would you put suspect vehicle number 1 in a PCA? So that, I mean, I really do see that as a valid question from a lot of people that ask that question. Why is it suspect vehicle 1? Why isn't it just suspect vehicle if it's suspect vehicle?
Right.
Because there wouldn't be a 1, it would just be the suspect vehicle. I mean,
suspect vehicle.
Right? Or am I wrong? I mean, is
Delana, what do you know, Delana? Because I know Delana keeps really good notes. Or
yeah,
Karma.
What I got from that is, if you just flipped it around, it'd be like vehicle number 1 is suspect. Vehicle number 2 is this victim's. Vehicle number 3 is this victim's. So saying suspect vehicle number 1, it's just the first vehicle listed, and then the rest of the vehicles follow in order. That's my understanding of what an attorney was talking about with that. Does that make sense, though?
Yeah. It does to me. I mean, I just assumed it was, you know, suspect vehicle was number 1 on the list, and that's how they put it down. You know, suspects number 1 is vehicle number 1. So vehicle number 2 is going to be Maddie. Vehicle number 3 is going to be Zaina. You know, like that way.
Exactly. Yep. That's it.
And so is that how it is, Delana, then? From how you and Karma read it?
Yeah, that was my understanding of it.
Okay.
And, yeah. And an attorney said that when they were reading through that.
So then that can kind of sort of eliminate a second white Elantra.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know because I haven't seen any facts. I just assumed, reading the PCA and how it was going off of there, it just kind of felt like that's the order that they've put him in, number 1, because he is a suspect, and it's probably the only suspect they've ever had. So he was number 1 on the list. That's his number 1 car, suspect. And then going down the list, I think when they spoke about the victims' cars, they also had them in numbers. So they probably are putting it all in just numbers so they can follow along.
They did. Yep. They listed the victims' cars numbered right after that.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting about that too? I've heard a lot of people mention that I believe it might be the tattoos that Dylan and Bethany got right afterwards, and the way they are listed when he went to go plea and he didn't do anything and he stood silent. I think people said that they were listing the victims in order of age. Did anybody else know that? A lot of it is that the way the tattoos, the initials work out is the order of, I guess from youngest to oldest or whatever. And then it's also that same way they noticed in the documentation. It's kind of listed by, I think, oldest to youngest, but I could be wrong. It might be youngest to oldest. And I think they've been sticking with that. And I know a lot of people might have been trying to, I actually thought maybe it was the order in which they, but then again, who really knows? But I did hear a lot of people mention it was because of the order of the age, their birthdays in order. Anybody else hear that?
I'll check it out. Crime on a Diamond. Jeff said on what you say to Adam video, I heard you're gonna ditch those guys and you're inside. I posted improved sound. I'm gonna check that out. I remember you sending me a bunch of cleaned up audio on that back before somebody was arrested. I remember you posting that. Let's see it. And the other conspirators have managed to keep quiet. That's believable. Conspirators have managed to keep quiet. That's believable. I don't know, man. I've seen the alleged biggest gangsters in the world turn on each other.
I mean, wouldn't Brian's own defense want whoever else is responsible to be brought up on charges as well? I mean, they're not going to let that slide and let their client take the heat on everything. So
I think they'd be singing that shit. They already tried, I think, honestly, with the whole Bethany exculpatory evidence. I'm serious. I think they've tried on that. I think they tried to put something out there with that. I don't know what it is. That's why I said I can't wait to hear what they say, whether we have to wait till trial to hear what they say or what. But
it makes me think that exculpatory evidence really wasn't worth the paper it was written on. That's in my opinion. I think that was just a really good game played by the defense. To me, Brian's nothing but drama. I think he really went into that courtroom knowing very well he was not going to plead guilty and he was not going to plead innocent. He wanted it to be all about him, just standing there, not doing anything. So he would have his, shining moment again, as always. Because BTK did that and he was so obsessed with him. He's actually really pathetic. Koberger is, if you think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, he really is pathetic. Here's the thing that gets me. I mean, okay, so I'm just trying to think of like his past relationships in life.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as going back to, he's a 28-year-old man. So who has he dated in the past? Well, what do we know? Nothing. We have a girl who kind of looked like Xana that he did heroin a lot with that OD'd. And I remember it was kind of on the iffy, is she your girlfriend, is she not? And I don't think anybody ever really knew. Then you have the girl.
Hollis, allegedly she was his fiance.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, Karma, I need to see that.
Yeah.
Send that to me.
Because that allegedly she was his fiance, and people have said that she was never a heroin user. She was actually trying to help him get off the heroin. And then somehow she died from a heroin overdose. So I'll have to dig that all up and I'll send it to you so you can.
So she died in a heroin overdose when she was trying to date Brian or his fiance and trying to get him off.
Yeah.
So does anybody know how she died of the heroin overdose? Was he just annoyed with her?
Nope. I'm guessing it was just written off as a heroin addict's overdose. And that was the end of it.
That's crazy.
Was he present during that time? Do we have that information?
I have no idea. I have no idea. I would have to really search it, but I'll find all the clips that I found on it, and I'll send it. I'll send it on Discord.
Where's the proof of this? Why were there so many FBI agents there before the murders happened? Where's that at? Where we seeing that at? I'd like to check that out.
Yeah, that's weird.
Seriously, if that's the case, I'd love to look at it.
I've been hearing that for a long time, though. I don't know where that ever came from, that there were FBI present before the murders occurred.
No,
I mean, that's been in those Facebook posts and everything for a long time. Just rumor to me. I don't know anything about that.
Drugs and Bailey probably snitched to get out of jail. College kids do drugs. There's a gag order. Google the arrest in that area. I mean, other arrests don't have nothing to do with this case if they haven't announced it being connected. Because I feel like there would be an announcement if somebody was connected to this case. This case is huge. They're not going to gag order somebody being arrested for conspiring in this case. Do you guys think that if somebody was arrested in this case, an Idaho 4 case, whether it was to help or whatever, that they would just not announce it? They would just arrest somebody and throw them and keep it silent?
Absolutely not.
No. They would let the public know.
Yeah, I think
they would keep the gag order. They would keep the gag order and put out the probably arrest or probable cause. And that's about it.
I think when you're dealing with drugs, you're dealing with a lot of snitches in and around that business as well. I mean, it's very rare that if drugs was involved in these murders and BK, who's trying to claim his innocence, you don't think someone would have put that information out there already? Come on. I mean, I think it's just common sense, really. You're always going to get a snitch who has something to say because they want notoriety or they want fame. They want something out of it. Even if it's just having their 5 minutes written in a fucking story. I think we would have heard something come out by now.
That what Carlo just actually brought up something actually pretty relevant to me, and I gotta agree with this. They wanted to speak with the occupants. Did they say occupant and or occupants? Or did they say occupants of the Elantra?
They always had it in plural, I believe.
They said occupant or occupants of the Elantra when they very first came out with that.
That's what I thought. I thought they said occupant or occupants. So
yeah.
But it does add, it does add a lot of speculation into the way it was worded, though, for just people in general that are thinking.
Well, that was in the very beginning where, they didn't even know.
They didn't even know anything, I don't think.
They didn't know if it was 1 people, 3 people, they had no clue. So, because I remember when he had first said that, let me see, how do you word that? Occupant or occupants. Maybe someone got a ride or was supposed to get a ride with someone that didn't happen, something like that. They were trying to figure out if, I was thinking maybe by the way he worded that, maybe a few people showed up and then one person came with them but didn't end up leaving with them or something, or the other way around. So that's kind of how, and that, like I said, that was in the beginning, so we didn't really have they didn't have any information on what had really happened or who was there.
What's up with this though? Angela brought up a good. Well, I haven't checked this part of it, what she's talking about, but why not issue Bethany Funk a victim's right form? The docket shows all other victims and their families were issued victims' rights forms. Why not Bethany Funk? That's a good question. Was she not issued one, or what? So you're saying Dylan was issued one and she wasn't?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I mean, I don't know how you know that information. Who has been handed victim right forms? I don't know where that is in the documents or whatever.
Yeah, I would love to look at the victim right forms. I'll pull them up on screen. Email.
I still see a lot of comments about these people in chat saying like, "Oh, well, drugs have changed now." Blah blah blah. You don't know the drug houses I've been in. I might look pretty goody two shoes, but
I'm not goody two shoes either. I've been in.
I got a history that I luckily slid by with, but it's not on this level. I mean, it's not where you go in and feel the need to do what this person did to 4 young lives. Like, that's not how you solve today's. It's just not that big. It's just not. Yes, I have kids down the street who in high school have Mercedes, and they've got tons of coke, and they're dealing at the high school, and they get in a car wreck and they crash their car, and the very next day their parents have bought them a brand new Mercedes, and they're not going to jail for it. I know what's out there. I get what's out there in big quantity. This in no way, even if it was even of a minimum quantity, would have never played out, I don't think, in a drug scenario of killing 4 kids. That's just my take. I don't think drugs of this level were involved in this incident. This was a sick guy, bottom line.
What? Brian Paula says, I think he stood silent because it leaves the door open for a plea deal for his attorney to ask for dismissal. If he pled, there would be no choice except the jury's decision. I've seen that being said a lot too.
I do know by standing silent, the judge had to go ahead and enter a plea of not guilty for him by standing silent. I do know that. Did y'all see where there's this guy who is kind of being held in confinement for his own security as well in Latah County Jail, and they kind of have him pretty much in a cell next to Brian. Not in a cell with Brian, but in a cell next to Brian in sort of like the inclusion area. Did y'all hear about that?
No, I didn't hear that.
Wait till you see the look on this guy's face. Okay, so this guy's name is Joshua Hewitt, and he was thrown in the slammer in Moscow for raping a 15-year-old homeless girl. So that is why he's in seclusion as well, because of the nature of his crime. And it just so happens to be that him and Brian are the two that are in this one section together, but not in the same room together, if that makes sense. Yeah, and this guy's like big and burly and kind of a scary looking guy. So anyway, Brian has someone to talk to now, possibly.
Hey guys, I dropped the link to the news article on the dead fiance. It's in the private chat too. I don't know if you want to have a look at it.
Dead fiance. Oh yeah. I remember seeing this. What was this? I remember this shit. Let me put it up. Let me take this off. Where's it at? Right here. This is the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
This is the dead fiance. What? Ashley Fugel or something like that?
Yeah, that's it.
Or Flugel. I believe it's Flugel.
Yeah.
I definitely believe it's Flugel. Who's on panel? Karma, Hollis, and Delana.
Oh, she's beautiful.
This is who Regina was saying that she looks like.
She resembles Zaina in some ways, yeah.
She looks like her, and maybe she had the same personality as her. That's so sad. She's gorgeous.
Yeah, she died in 2018 of the drug overdose. And
does it say?
She was supposed to appear in court to testify. I don't know if she was supposed to testify against Brian because the court documents are sealed, from what I read. But she has a lot of drug charges and she was supposed to testify, and the day before she was supposed to testify, she was found dead of a drug overdose.
No way, no way. Totally on point. They have to keep this low or in order. Ponder this. BK purchasing drugs from someone near the house explains the pings. Was there that night to pick up and was at the wrong place at the wrong time. Explains setup.
Explain the DNA on the sheath then.
So I guess maybe he sold a knife to somebody and they went in and committed and he had his skin cell on there or something.
You know what? If he was there at 4,
Echo chamber that.
If he was there at 4 and with Enan and buying drugs from Enan, it still doesn't explain his DNA on the sheath.
That
and Enan would have ratted him out, so I don't think he was buying drugs. I don't think he was on drugs at that time. At least not on the heroin.
They wouldn't keep.
And I'm sure he could have found drugs at Pullman, Washington. I'm sure he could have found a hookup within 3 blocks of his apartment. That's my take.
Yeah, I don't know when he started the heroin, but I know he was in rehab between 2017 and 18.
She was into girls, not boys. She lost the. Hold up. This prosecutor has never used the DP in any case. Has this prosecutor ever faced a quadruple murder or tried a quadruple murder? Should I say? I haven't looked that up about him. She was.
Regina put that stuff in chat yesterday. I think it was about the prosecutor, and he does seem to go light. I don't want to speak for her or whatever, but she did say that he didn't have a death penalty case yet in his 20-year career, I believe.
I'm waiting to see about that. Who said that? I'm trying to find that comment about BTK because somebody said, how obsessed was he really? Okay, never fear truth. How obsessed was he with BTK really? We all deep dive into crime and don't kill anyone. I don't know that he was obsessed with BTK. I can only go off of what I see. I personally don't know that yet. I'm waiting to find that out. But he did go to a college where, what wasn't it a professor?
Yeah, it was a professor who she analyzed. Oh, she wrote the book about BTK with his daughter, and so she had really gotten all into the psychology and everything of it, and that's who recommended Brian for his PhD continuation. But what's really interesting about that is, she's writing this story about BTK, and then she's got Brian Koberger as a student, and she's got the same person standing right in front of her. She never knew it.
I asked myself the same thing. How did she not pick up on him?
What was that, Karma?
I don't understand how she never picked up on him. He was working alongside her. How did she not notice anything? Is he really that good at just blending into society?
Get that shit out.
He had to have been, I guess. But I just don't. Sam Panther made a good comment because I had read that too. That the girl that was shown in the picture that Brian was hanging out with during his heroin days, who was found overdosed. I had also heard that she actually liked girls, not boys, and that's why people kind of were confused whether she was his true girlfriend or whether she was just a friend. So if he says that she was his fiance, then that changes that whole story too.
This way to avoid information leaks to the public, so only those directly connected to the incident are knowledgeable. Says Dr. Roselle White. What's going on, Dr. Roselle? Shout out to you. See you for Easy to Block Captain's channel. She says they may not release information if ongoing. This way they avoid information leak TK public, so only those directly connected to the incident are knowledgeable.
Yes, and that's what's so frustrating. But I do notice in a pattern that I don't think BK had a lot of girlfriend relationships of any solid value, from what I can tell, based on all based on just basically what we have been given.
Saying that, I find it interesting that he was allegedly engaged to a gay woman. You know?
Yeah, that's just bizarre.
They need a confession or enough evidence showing he actually did it. Just because you find DNA can't necessarily prove he did away with people.
Well, then how does it just show up under the body of one of the victims all bloody and his DNA's on it, and he has nothing to do with them in any other way, shape, or form? Lori Lopez. Like, I just really want to know why you think that.
A lot of people say that, though. That's like the number one thing people run to who want to try to start, who go to the argument. But I feel like in general, if that was all they had, I mean, what is this 51 terabytes? Like I said, I feel like it's a lot of video.
It's all the circumstantial evidence put together that kind of doesn't shine a good light on this character, I'll tell you that. And he definitely doesn't have bond. Doesn't have bail. They're not letting him out, so they know the streets aren't safe. They must have they probably got a lot of stuff on this guy. A lot of stuff.
Jeff, oh yeah, that's right. He said is now looking to speak with the person or people driving a white 2011 to 2013 Elantra. Another argument is that it's 2015. That's another big argument that goes around. It goes around. I know you guys see it.
Well, that's kind of silly. I mean, it's an Elantra. It's between, the past 6 years of they all look different in a little different way, and people aren't perfect with year models of cars. It's basically a white Elantra, and I think the year dates they gave was pretty good on enough as it was based on that video footage.
I'm very interested in what like that whole entire shit with the cameras, like where that information came from. What is that girl's name? I know she's probably keeping it. Maybe she's even, I don't know. I would say maybe she's even gonna be at this trial, but then again, where would they get this information from? That's the thing that baffles me the most, is this information that comes out and they say our source, but it's like, who's the source? Angela says it's in the docket, by the way. When we were talking about what was it? The victims' rights form. She said that's in the docket. There may be victims' rights privacy on those forms, and they will not be in public record. They may be a victim's right to privacy on those forms, and they will not be in public record.
Or she may have lawyered up, and there is one that we just don't know about due to the gag order.
But Angela's saying it's definitely in the docket.
Oh, okay.
That the victim's rights form is what she was saying. Thank you, DC. I appreciate you. Yep. You mean Santa? He's a bitch. Santa? Says Santa. Bill Thompson is the king. Our sweetheart deals for murderers. Protected. Why was Brian obsessed with Pullman shooting when pulled over in Indiana? Then when arrested, asked, has anyone else been arrested? Cat and mouse games? Who knows? I can't answer that.
He didn't mention Pullman shooting. His dad did.
And you know what else? Someone said that they want to see the proof that he actually asked that.
Right. There was only one story about that from Brian Enton in the beginning that he asked that.
Video explanation for BK's the explanation for BK's. I'll check it out. That's why Steve is going to sue them all. He would sue survivors for not calling cops, but he will get more if he sues state, city, town, etc.
Yeah.
Bernice says. What up, everyone? What's up, Rusty? Welcome. his teacher wrote about BTK, so he probably got into reading the book. I mean, I definitely need to hear it. I definitely want to hear if he did study about him. You know what I'm saying? Like, we could speculate that he did all day.
I bet there's a lot of terabytes about BTK with him. Because if his teacher, if that professor taught about BTK specifically a lot, I'm sure Koberger has tons of notes on BTK.
But from what I remember, I think she's under the gag order because she was interviewed when Brian was arrested. She had a very short interview on a news channel, and she said she couldn't talk about Brian specifically or the case in specific because of ongoing situations.
Right, but this was like previous videos of her on her own like they would show a few clips of her just talking about her book and how she wrote about BTK and all of that, which had nothing to do with Brian. Like this was stuff that, they had interviewed her on years ago from the past. But yet we knew she was his teacher. So you could kind of correlate the two.
Yeah, definitely. I don't disagree.
Oh, okay.
That there might have been an involvement with him trying to get close to her to understand more about how BTK worked as an evil person, basically. But yeah, I think she hasn't said anything because I'm just seeing people questioning a lot why she doesn't say anything, and I think she's under the gag order as well. I mean, she's got to be a witness.
That's what I was just thinking.
Yeah, she's got to be a witness to his character, his day-to-day routine, stuff like that, It
makes you wonder the changes in his routine after the crime.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Did she notice the difference? I mean, because I find it quite interesting that she was possibly working alongside him, but never noticed the tendencies in him.
Yeah.
So my question now is, did she at least notice when he came back after the murders?
Right. Because I think, the students claimed he was he was different. But I wonder if she noticed it.
Yeah. I mean, if the students noticed and they're not at the level that she is at in studying these types of people, then I find it hard to believe that she didn't notice something was different about Brian when he came back.
Right. But I'm sure now, knowing that they've kind of pinned him with the DNA, I bet now she might see a lot of stuff. Wondering, do you think she'll be a witness for the prosecution or the defense, an expert witness? Which way?
I don't know. I think she's going to be called by the prosecution as a character witness, definitely.
Yeah.
Why do people keep lying and bringing this dumbass audio up that's fake, that's been debunked in 2022? I just don't get that. That's how gullible people are to believe some fake ass ring audio that the person who originally uploaded said that it was a sample. There's people still in chat talking about that fake ass audio and believing it's real.
It's the very same video that went around months ago.
Very same video. People still believe that shit. I guess people that haven't seen it went and listened to some audio and are believing it. Not true.
Yeah, that doesn't sound real to me.
It's not, because the person who uploaded it said it wasn't. They said it was a sample of what it would sound like.
Gotcha.
Brian is more than likely a killer than not if you have common sense. Sacred teachings.
So, you know what I was wondering about? In the kitchen where everyone's curious about seeing the forensic tech bending down and possibly taking swabs on the ground of materials, where in the kitchen layout is that? I mean, we know the sliding glass door is to one side, but this isn't like in front of a kitchen sink counter or anything like that, correct? It's just kind of like the walkway through the kitchen to the sliding glass door and out the house.
I thought it was in front of the good vibes sign before you go around the corner to the kitchen.
To touch up on that, dude, I think what Freckles just said was that sheath would be covered in blood. What do you think about that, being so close to where the victims where Maddie and Kaylee were?
Oh yeah, I think that probably dropped off of him and he didn't realize it. I think that was an accident that he left that sheath. I don't think he realized the sheath fell out or, was grabbed in the scuffles or whatever.
They never mentioned bloody sheath or nothing like that. I mean, could there be blood on it?
Oh, I'm sure there is. I would think there would have to be.
Thank you.
Well, the sheath was on by her side. So, I mean, not to be. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure there was blood on it, but the blood was probably more pulled towards her neck and chest area.
Right.
I would think.
I don't think the blood was covering the snap. I mean, that would have totally made the sample untestable, which would have really been a problem. It just depends on, how things happened and where the sheath landed. Oh, but I'm sure they're going to have the sheath in evidence at trial. We'll all see that sheath.
Absolutely.
Annie says 51 terabytes is all 4 victim phone records, bank records, warrant returns, BK, same information, 3D scans, witness statements, law enforcement statements. It's not 51 terabytes of evidence against Brian Koberger. I'm not saying it's all evidence of Brian Koberger.
We know
but there's definitely some video in there. It ain't just paperwork. I promise you that. Yeah. Paperwork don't take up fucking 51 terabytes.
No. Trust me.
That's wild.
It is the TikTok accounts of all of the victims, plus Brian, plus probably Jack DeCour, the other jackass, Adam. It's probably all of their Yahoo accounts, their Pinterest accounts, their phone numbers. It's everything they have as well. The evidence will be found within that 51 terabytes, Annie. No doubt. No doubt.
I mean, 51 terabytes. The only thing I start thinking about is, damn, you got a lot of video in there of something.
It's
I'm not saying it's a BK. I'm saying there's video in there, whether it's interrogation of Bethany and Dylan there. You know what I'm saying? At the house after they went to the police station, or anybody that was on the scene first. It could be Hunter. If Hunter, you know what I'm saying? It could be a lot of different people's interrogation video. There's a lot of different things in there. I guarantee it. And people said that they didn't hand over the evidence. If they didn't hand over the evidence, I just see them. I think they handed everything over.
And don't forget, they also took his Fire TV stick. I mean, that's every movie, everything he searched on Google. I mean, there's so much in there. You could go on for days and days and days. And when you start doing that, and you have to do that with multiple people and all of the accounts, it gets to be a lot. I have learned that. Google, Yahoo, all of that. Annie is actually correct. It is all of that information, but it's not all BK incriminating information. It's within that information, if that makes sense.
Brett Kopeka had an Elantra just like Koberger. Yes, but there's a lot of people that had white Elantras in that circle. Let's see.
Actually, if you read through the PCA, that time of the crime and the video footage they had leaving and coming to the scene, there were very few cars that even drove through there at those times, let alone multiple white Elantras at those times.
Yeah, all their white Elantras, but not. I mean, people. We could try to refute this DNA all day, but there still is DNA at the scene, near 2 victims that were killed. So that's just the biggest problem I have when people bring shit up. I mean, even though you can dispute and refute, we still don't know what's in that 51 terabytes of evidence or allegedly everything that was collected in general. We don't, for all you know, they got the gas pedal with the blood. They got his gas pedal and vehicle with blood in it. And we're sitting here talking about this, that, and the third.
Don't forget, it's also the FBI probably information when they were on to, when they jumped in and helped out a lot.
Well, that's
got all of that.
right.
Well.
Here we go. Here's the BK fan club in the building. Exonerate XR, free BCA.
And here's another thing. Here's another thing that not a single person has mentioned. Kaylee was a true crime buff, and she really did feel like she had a stalker. Nobody knows how. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me one bit if Brian was a peeper in their windows and has a lot of footage of that as well.
Yeah, that thought crossed my mind as well, I'll be honest.
Absolutely.
Drake did it. Miss Drake. That's the part that nobody's gonna get past me. I don't care what you explain, what you tell me. This night sheet with DNA on it. I don't care how many people tell me it's a skin cell, a fucking fingernail, a tooth. I don't. You can tell me until you're blue in the face. I need it explained in court, at trial, and broken down. And if I'm convinced, then I'll believe that.
I would have more doubt if he was like their buddy and their pal and came to all the parties and there's a lot of social interaction and there's arguments amongst them. Like if his DNA was on the knife sheet, I might be a little bit like, well, we just don't know, maybe he was in there, I just don't know. But the fact that there's truly no real personal connection except just from his whacked out brain and his DNA is there. And all the other circumstantial evidence, it just screams, that they've got the guy.
How did his dad take a shower after traveling all that time he was there? Maybe he took a bubble bath. I mean, it would be on arresting officers' body cams if BK said that when arrested. What, the Pennsylvania body cams that allegedly don't have body cams? That's what they say. I don't know. Detective John got up here and was like, yeah, Pennsylvania don't got body cams. Didn't he say that?
Yeah, but the people that served that execution or that warrant was the
FBI.
Yeah, it was a Bureau of Emergency Response team called CERT, a tactical team. And then the FBI and the evidence response team are the ones that processed that scene. So I would think that they would have body cams with that tactical team. I mean, that's what they do. They're for high risk warrant and barricaded situations. So
I see David Clayton's comment in chat. Yeah, the blood trail really bothered me at the very beginning of this case. In fact, the first time I ever called into T-REV's channel, the first thing I said was, where is this blood trail? And they ain't got shit from Brian's car. So yesterday, how it's kind of bizarre, his shower curtain is missing from his apartment. It doesn't, it's just sort of seems to me that he put all of his killer clothes all in that, wrapped it up, and then, whatever, left. And that's why there's no blood trail. And that's why there's not, he's not going to leave his car all contaminated. But I think we'll be shocked during trial what they find with the pieces of the vehicle they did take apart.
I believe that too. Probably under the floor mats, even if you clean up with bleach, like Detective John was saying, it's going to smear around and it may look like you got it all, but not under like the actual carpet or the brake pads or the gear shifts.
Because those all have such those tiny little crevices.
Exactly.
They're just hard to clean out in general. So I don't see that. And then if everybody's wondering this, don't forget, He cleaned his entire car with bleach a few days later. Like, the FBI was watching him do that. So you'll have to remember all of the little bit of circumstantial evidence. That it's not just, oh, he didn't have, blood in his car, or, oh, there wasn't a blood trail. Well, these things can be explained. It's just that we probably aren't going to find it all out during trial. But you have to understand there's a lot of evidence going against him.
Also, people have said there wasn't a blood trail, but if you look back at the beginning pictures, you can see at least a marker number 5 outside. Mm-hmm. So there are markers outside, and they were in that tree line and everything. So I don't know. I saw markers out there, so there is some kind of trail out there. But
are they going to mention blood trail in the PCA? I mean, it's not usually PCAs don't even have that much information in them.
Right.
Yeah, no, I don't think they would mention blood trail.
And I do
not in the PCA.
I do remember they were doing the tire track measurements, and somewhere along the line, someone reported somewhere. Didn't he actually go get his tires changed after that was reported? After that footage was being shown? I think he went and got his tires, got all brand new tires.
I didn't hear anything about
I'll try to find that. I will try to find that.
Yeah, I didn't hear that, but
it might be gossip.
All his teachers think he was highly intelligent. I mean, he made it to where he was at. That ain't bad.
There's no doubt he was highly intelligent. You don't get into a PhD program not being smart, but it doesn't mean that you lose. I mean, I've never met a smart criminal.
Yeah, I mean, that's how they get caught, right?
Smarts.
Ramsden will not be called by the prosecution. I respectfully disagree. Yeah, I don't know about that either. I don't know if Ramsden will be called.
I mean, if criminals were smart, then they would never get caught. But smart doesn't mean you're street smart,
Exactly. And I think if he made mistakes, I think he just didn't expect there to be 3 extra people there. I think he kind of felt overwhelmed, and I think if mistakes were made, it's, I just don't think it went as he planned. I think he got ambushed, and that's why I think he made some mistakes along the way.
Yeah, I mean, he's human, right? He's still human, no matter the monstrous shit he's done.
Yeah.
He's still human, and humans still make mistakes, and you can't be perfect at everything.
Right. And I think once they identified him through his DNA and were able to really do that search warrant and see what type of person he was, I think it probably just, made it the more obvious, maybe.
Yeah.
I know, but I see some people in here that actually posted that fake ass audio, and they're in here saying things like,
"Oh no, that fake audio went around for like a week."
I see someone in here that actually just posted it a couple of days ago. I don't know.
And it is so easy to make fake audio.
That's some Joseph Morris shit.
Yep.
Yeah. And the part that I really am going to be interested in trial, severely interested in, is every single timeline. As much timestamp timelines as can be explained as possible. That would just help me understand it a little better.
Just because BK is book smart doesn't mean he's a smart murderer, David, says Samantha. Damn. I could damn near say it the way you were saying it. If it was covered in blood, they would have found more than a single source of DNA on the underside button snap. PCA says under or beside, which is non-specific. Says Andy Potts.
Not really, because if it was covered in blood, it's in the victim's blood.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking. I mean, if they're fighting and the sheath fell out of whatever his pocket or side pocket or whatever, and then he's not the one being murdered, the other people are being murdered within seconds. And so it's their blood that's going to be on that sheet. It's not going to be Brian's.
Yeah, I'm with Bad Boy on this one. I mean, 9:12 a.m. You come back. Did you figure out the sheath was there, or did you try to make it back in time to grab it? That's another thing. Being pinged. Was it the Wi-Fi he was pinged on, or was it a tower?
I think the wife.
To be specific, at 9:12 a.m. I'm trying to remember exactly because I don't have everything.
I don't know if it was the Wi-Fi or his tower or the tower.
I thought it was the tower. I thought it was, but
hold on, I got it.
Because 9:12 a.m. you're back around the scene. Yeah. You're on a tower. You're something. You're right there.
You know what I think? I think he knew he dropped the sheath. I think he knew he fucked up. I don't think he came back to get it. I think he came back to revel in his glory. I think he came back to see people react, to see what happened. I think he came back to see what his handiwork did.
Remember the news clip early in the morning?
He's an upset guy. I mean, he didn't do this for any reason. He did it because he was angry.
There's a news clip I can't find no more that has a white Elantra in the back. I can't find it anywhere but on my stream.
Yeah, he was going past the house.
I don't know if they're trying to use that or whatever, but for some reason it's been scraped off the internet damn near. I can't find it anywhere. In case somebody can find it, there's a clip where a guy in a blue jacket is standing out front of the house and you see a white Elantra looking vehicle. I would have to see it more and more, but it's on one of my streams and I'd have to dig through it to find it.
I believe that was when Brian was actually reporting that next morning. Somebody was reporting and they caught it going back and forth or something like that. Or it was parked there.
I don't think it was Brian Enton though.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
It
Brian.
was somebody else.
Yeah.
Somebody else.
Somebody else, and there was a white Elantra at the back of the house, up. You know where you go from the back of the house. There's an up street, isn't there? And you could see it just go past slowly. It was like it was going through in slow motion.
I would listen to this channel if you would stop having that black man voice screaming out every few seconds. It is disrespectful and annoying. Yeah? Is that how you feel? Black man this. Go make another account, wait 20 minutes.
Okay,
racist ass bitch.
Yeah. Get out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
I think some shit was bought at the pub. I think he had cameras in there. See, now Viv Keenan, she has a good point. Like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, what if that includes some of the 51 terabytes as well?
Papa Sal, you got some feedback.
See, now Viv.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I got feedback. Ciao.
Hold on.
Welcome, guys. I want to say good morning to all of you.
Now, wait a minute. I don't know if that's T or Papa Sal.
No, it's Sal.
Hold on. It's me.
It's T. You do them too well.
Papa Sal's got the stream playing in the background.
Do I still got the feedback?
I could hear myself talking.
Hello. Do I got the feedback?
Yeah, you do.
Gotta love Papa Sal.
Homie said black man voice. Get the fuck out of here.
I think they're talking about me.
Nah, they're talking about me.
I'm trying to figure this out, guys. Hold on.
You take your time, Papa Sal.
I would listen to this channel, but it's just a trolling. Go make another account, come back in 20 minutes and get smoked again. Racist ass bitch. Y'all were talking 20 skin cells. Late for hand flame. What? Let me see. Is next to you. Just left. You just left 100 skin cells. We're talking 20. Papa Sal's phone sound like a fucking automatic machine gun.
Listen, I don't think they just have the DNA on the button snap. I think they've got hairs. I think they have fibers. I think they have so much more than we realize. I think they've got the evidence from the car. I think, you know, there's got to be fibers from the car. You know, Kaylee being a true crime gal, you know I would have grabbed for his hair. No matter what, the scratches, the face, anything. My mother always told me, if you ever get attacked, at least make sure you scratch them and get their skin cells under your nails. And I have no doubt that Kaylee.
Texas Gigi, you're funny as hell. No need for a trial of of you have convicted him already. I can't convict him. I'm not a juror. I can't convict it.
Honestly, I have not convicted him yet. I really
have.
not.
I'm biased. I believe it's him. His DNA's at the scene. His pangs are there. I'm just being honest. I don't have to lie to nobody and be like, oh, I don't have him convicted yet. As a person, for me, from where I come from, your DNA's at the scene. I don't give a fuck about the skin cell. Your phone ping there. Allegedly, your vehicle's there. I mean, allegedly, there's going to be some more evidence to show further that what they've shown. I mean, I believe that law enforcement did a good job in this case. I mean, you can bang them and smash them against the wall you want, but T-REV truly believes that Brian Koberger is that guy. I am T-REV Koberger, allegedly. Fuck your feelings. I don't care what you think about me. Now, I will listen, and you can disrespectfully agree with me all day, but we can respectfully disagree with each other and hold that type of respect, or we can just be outright ignorant. I'm a person. I'm not a juror. I'm not a fucking judge. I'm not none of that. I'm not a lawyer. I just say what I feel 100%. And I definitely feel they got the right guy. But hey, I'm up for the, healthy debates. I'm definitely up for those.
I feel like they have the right guy. I just honestly believe, like, in the justice system, and he does deserve his day in court. I'm just saying that my personal opinion is totally with you. Like, there's too much circumstantial evidence. It's just too obvious. It's just, but yeah, I mean, if in court people can prove there was somebody else and they have all this evidence, let them prove it.
Well,
but
I found that
it just doesn't look that way, people. I'm sorry.
They could sway my mind can be swayed. If this guy really looks innocent, I will say so. I'm not going to sit on my word. If it was to come out and some crazy shit was to come out that totally turned the tables, I mean, I'm would definitely stand in his corner 100%. I just don't see that right now. I don't see all these different things. I'm not going off agreeing with these YouTubers who are creating suspects out here in the field, and I'm not seeing that being created by no victims' families. I'm not seeing it. I'm sorry. I'm not as gullible to go believe what YouTubers say on YouTube and report, oh, Demetrius, Emma, Brent, this, that, the third. I have yet seen anything that ties them to that scene, being especially DNA speaks to me on a loud level, whether it's a fucking skin cell or not.
Right.
It speaks to me. And if, like I said, that DNA should tie the rest of this case up. If it doesn't, then I'll have a problem.
Yeah, the DNA wraps it up with a nice, pretty bow. But the other thing that really was the nail in the coffin for me was, if I were innocent and being charged of murdering 4 young college kids, and I had showed up for my arraignment, I guarantee you I would have said, I am not guilty. I have information that can exonerate me. You know, can you and my lawyer get together tomorrow? I am tired of sitting in jail for something I did not commit. Instead of playing like a freaky mind game, who does that?
So you guys were asking about the time frame when he returned on November 13th. So they catch him with the phone pings leaving at 9 a.m. He arrives to King Road between 9:12 a.m. and 9:21 a.m. and then is leaving the area by 9:32 a.m. So, I mean, they've got him on the phone pings and coming back to the scene. And then before he actually committed the crime at 4:04 a.m., they have him on video entering the area 4 times. The 4th time is when he entered the residence.
Wow.
Why else would you keep going back around that place 3 times prior? You know, make that make sense. That doesn't make any sense. If it's just, you know, he was seeing someone else or picking up some drugs or whatever.
And why the long ride home? Why the long out of the way ride home?
Right. But they have him on camera. I mean, 5 cameras just in Pullman returning. They have his route on video, even though they don't have his pings during the time of the crimes. That's because he turned his phone off. They have his route on video. They lay it all out in the PCA, you know, and that's a route there, and then driving around their house for the 4th time and back home, and then coming back to the scene again later in the morning at 9:12. So
someone asked in chat, where's the video of that footage of him being at those things? It's all in the PCA where they pinged him. I'm pretty sure, right, Delana?
Yeah, it's all in the PCA.
Pings, yeah, that's in the PCA.
Yeah, I mapped out like the pings versus the video footage and the times. I mean, they have 2 ways to corroborate it, really, except for when he turned that off. But that's because he didn't want to get caught for the crime. But he brought his phone the next time at 9:12. He brought his phone. He didn't shut it off at that time. But that was the last time they show he pinged. He didn't ping again after the 14th in that area.
That's another thing. People think that they need to agree with me to get some type of love or something. No, nobody in here is entitled to believe what I believe. I just speak what I believe. I don't want nobody to believe me, to follow what I think. I want you to develop your own opinion. But once you get disrespectful and all that other shit, that's when the shit gets corny to me. I speak what I feel. I'm going off of the reality of it. If people want to say that they're crooked, this, that, and the third, and if the defense proves that and brings up some good things, some good arguments that that blows me out of my socks, I'm gonna definitely speak on it. I'm gonna definitely stand on it too. If I feel that dude is innocent, after some more shit comes out and there's just not enough there, I'll stand there. Like I personally believe Stephen Avery's innocent, but that's just something else. I mean, that's another case. Who was the guy? Who was another guy that got exonerated? I mean, but his case was so. We watched it in Discord, and it was with the AJ Armstrong case, right? But it was another. I'm trying to remember this guy's name. Paul. He got arrested. The neighbor said that she's seen him carry out the bed and put it into the vehicle, and all this other shit. But it was really another guy that killed his wife. And and the neighbor said that she's seen him beating his wife, this, that, and the third, and he was exonerated from prison and did not put a hand on her. Or actually, he wasn't exonerated from prison. He's supposed to get out, I think, later on this year. But in general, he's getting out. But he went to prison for over 20 years because the lady across the street lied and said she's seen him carrying out some shit. And they found this convicted killer that committed a murder right around the corner with his fingerprints under her door. Crazy case. Very, very insane case. Thank you, Lollipop. I appreciate you. Papa Sal, what's up?
Could you hear me all right?
Yeah, you're good. What's going on, pal?
All right. I just fucking woke up, man. I suck. I fucking laid down. I'm playing with the grandson, and I fell asleep. So I just woke up. I'm so busy trying to get on this thing. I don't even know what the fuck we're talking about.
Hey,
suck.
Papa.
Hey, guys. How you doing? How's everybody doing today?
Hi, Papa.
Good, thank you.
I should say good morning. That's what I should say. I'm on my second cup of coffee.
Ain't no doubt.
All right, so What's this about a mattress and a fucking? What's
Nah,
going on?
I was talking about another case that a guy was completely innocent in killing his wife. He didn't kill his wife. It was a convicted killer in the area. His fingerprints were found under they were found under the car door. This was like back in the 90s, but he got convicted of it. But he got exonerated. I seen the story on Dateline. I can't remember his name. I was talking about the case a while back, but in general, they found somebody else's fingerprints under her door that is a convicted killer, and they convicted him of killing his wife.
That sucks. That
Nah,
really
I was like,
sucks.
and everything, even into court, even he looked innocent. You
How
know,
much time did he do? How much?
he's still in now. He's supposed to get out later this year.
Fuck. And he went in the 90s.
Yep, in the 90s. Very insane case.
What a bunch of shit.
Very insane case, but a lot different from this. What I'm saying, the thing is about this is I just don't understand how people find it hard to believe that this guy is tied to this case when his pangs, there's DNA, his DNA is at the scene on this knife sheath. Allegedly, the knife, he allegedly used this type of knife, and it's this guy comes back to the scene at 9/12. I'm having a problem with people. I don't understand how people go to these extreme levels of finding these different suspects. First, it was Brent Kopeka for the longest time, and now it's automatically this Emma and Demetrius guy. And I fail to understand where they come into play because their DNA is not at the scene. They didn't find their knife sheath at the scene. They didn't find, you know what I mean? I don't know what other evidence they have against Brian outside of what was put into that PCA. Besides, you know, certain things that we've heard, which I can't confirm those because it's yet to be confirmed, certain things. But in general, I just don't understand where a lot of people just in their mind throw this DNA out the window that's on a knife sheath. I mean, I think that these victims deserve to have a guy tried for murder because there was a sheath at the scene with, his skin cell on it, which should tie up the rest of the case. It should lead them to the rest of the evidence. If they're lacking the rest of this evidence, then we can start to consider some other stuff. Yeah. But he deserves to be tried, allegedly. I mean, he went in for they had the secret grand jury and indicted him in there. So it's like, come on, like this guy deserves to have his day in court, a fair trial. Right. But in general, I'm looking at it from an aspect, okay, I'm gonna keep saying it over and over: the knife sheath at the scene, the DNA cell, whatever DNA it was, his DNA was at that scene right there with two victims that are passed away. So I mean, to say that do you think that we should let him out and walk the streets right now? Would you trust him sleeping near you or your kids right now? No. With a knife sheath being at the scene with his DNA, I just that part right there just gets to me a little bit. That people are that vulnerable to listen to all these fake audios out here and send me fake audios and all these different sidetrack stories, but this guy's knife DNA is at the scene, right? And we are screaming possibly innocent right now. I mean, he has to have his fair day in court here in the United States. I think you guys are getting it wrong when we're coming forward and say, okay, we're convicting him. Convicting him and having his fair day in court is two different things. Now, I do think it's him. So if that's convicting him, I guess I'm pro burger. But in general, it's pointing at him right now. From pangs, like I said, and knife sheath with the skin cell, whatever, toenail, fingernail, whatever.
And
it was on that sheet.
That's just what we know.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
They got a shitload more of evidence, I guarantee.
People don't want to hear that shit though. They don't want to hear it. They take the defense aspect. I get it, cool. But so I'm talking to everybody in chat who thinks he's innocent. So you think he's innocent. So you're saying that we should let him out of prison when there was a knife sheath at the scene with his DNA on it? That doesn't need to be explained. Right. Because I guarantee it doesn't matter. All 650, whoever, 700 people that are in here, 500, if that was us and our knife and a sheath at the scene with our DNA on it, we'd be sitting in prison right now too, or sitting in county jail waiting for our day to go to court and fight the charges ahead of us.
Yeah.
Same circumstances turned around to any person in here, one woman or man. We're gonna have to see our day in court, point blank, period.
Of course. And you want it fair, like you said. Yeah, you want it fair. But right now, what we know, just what we know, not what they know, but just what we know, we feel. And listen, that knife sheet. They're saying that they might not bring it into evidence. Is that what they're saying?
I mean, I don't know. People are saying that back and forth. Where's it at? Show me they're not using it.
I heard something like that. I don't know.
I mean, even if they aren't, then that means that just solidifies that they think they have enough evidence to take it.
Exactly.
But I don't know that to be a fact. I've just seen that as rumor out there. I haven't seen specifically in a docket so far that, yeah, we're not using the knife and this, that, and I haven't seen it. And if they aren't, then that's even more damning to me that they would just not even use that.
Right. You know, and some people are saying that where you see the forensic people stepping over something, they're saying that this might be stepping over a body. I don't think so. They would take a wider step. If you look at that video, they're stepping over something, but it's definitely not a body. It's got to be a blood trail or something. Because otherwise they would have taken a bigger step, in my opinion.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That gets me, you know. But listen, look, his DNA is there. You know, it's like you're going through shit. It's fucked up. It looks fucked up for him. And it's gonna look even worse when he goes to trial, because I know they got a boatload of fucking evidence more against this guy, and they're not really talking. If you notice, you're mostly hearing from the other side. You're really not hearing their side. You know what I mean? When they talk, they don't really come up and say, you know, what they got against him. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
So I'm sure they're pretty confident they got the right guy. And just like the chief said, you know, we're definitely 100% sure this is the guy that did it, you know.
I mean, if we look at it this way, they're gonna have their chance in court to speak. If he's innocent, and his defensive team is gonna be able to bring things to light to put that out there. You know what I'm saying? And if that comes to light and these things come out to be true in defense, then and this guy looks innocent to me, I'll flat out say it. I've never had no problem.
Let's say, really, hold on. Could you imagine they let him go? Could you imagine? This guy's life is so fucked. I mean, and there's going to be people on the outside, us, that still believe he did it. You know, they got this guy crucified already. We got this guy crucified already. And there's going to be whack jobs out there trying to take a fucking shot at this guy. Guaranteed. He's got to be protected. There's no way he could just walk out of the courtroom, stick his hands in the air like Rocky, and say, I'm innocent. I'm innocent. It ain't gonna work like that. This guy's fucked. Could you imagine if
I would agree with Papa Sal on that. I think at this rate he's probably safer inside than he would be outside.
Right. I was gonna say, yep. He's probably saying, well, I'm innocent, but I don't mind my little 2x4 cell here. I think I'll stay here. I'm safer here. Right. I know.
Right.
He's screwed. He is fucking screwed. But I don't know, you know, it's the same old thing. You know, I like that handprint on the window. I like that. I mean, why is there a handprint there? Maybe he tried to open that window and he couldn't open it?
It's possible, or he could have been peeking through the window.
Or he could have been peeking through the window. Yep. Yep. Unbelievable. Is it? My eyes suck. Okay. You circled his handprint, which showed me his handprint. Is that his right hand or his left hand? Is it? Can anybody see where the thumb and the pinky are?
No, I haven't seen a picture.
Couldn't make it out. I couldn't make it out. But I'm just curious if it was his right hand or his left hand, because I think that would let us know whoever print that was either tried to open the window, or could it be one of the victims' handprints trying to open the window for help? You know, I still say, after he did what he did upstairs, and he came downstairs, he heard the crying. And that's when he went back into the room and said, "Don't worry, I'm here to help you." And he finished the job. I'm just thinking, could it be? This is just a thought, you know. Could it be that maybe Xana, maybe Ethan, they weren't really dead? I'm going to say it was the girl. I'm going to say it was Xana, because he heard the crying. He went back into that room when he came down. That's why when he said, "I'm here to help you," he finished the job in there. Then she had the door cracked, and he's coming out from around the fucking corner, and the good vibe sign is lit. And that's when Dylan seen his face, or what she thought she seen his face, as he's leaving. You know what I mean? Like, he finished her off, came back around, that vibe sign was a light, and she noticed his bushy eyebrows, God bless her, and his height, and what she thought as he left. But I wonder if that was the victim's handprint, although they're saying it was a big handprint, so that they're thinking it was a man's handprint. But I don't know. I don't know. These are just thoughts in my head. Don't listen to what I'm saying. I'm just thinking out loud, you know.
Well, they're all fair questions. I mean, I think we all have our own questions, our own ideas.
Yeah. And it's all speculation. We're just speculating.
Can we switch the possibilities of what happened with the other two roommates? I still speculate on those two roommates. I just can't help myself. Some others, a lot of people I've seen, they were in shock, or I'm sorry, Dylan was in shock, this, that, and the third, and I just don't, for some reason, I have a hard time buying that.
Well, you know what? I go with Steve. I say what Steve says. Steve says these girls came forward and they're cooperating. He was bragging about them, saying that he feels sorry for them. They're cooperating, and he thinks they had nothing to do with it. Now, God knows what Steve knows. Okay, I'm sure Steve knows a shitload more than we do. And for him to say that makes me, I tend to stand behind Steve. Just like when he said they didn't have to go upstairs. I tend to stand behind Steve. Little fucking things that this poor man is saying.
Thank you, Sam.
I back him up. You know, I back him up. I stand behind him. And I try to think. I try to put it like, why would he say that?
So what I'm buying from some people in chat is they're getting the wrong idea. They're saying in America we convict people. We don't want people to be in prison for who didn't do something. I promise you that. Right. But when I have something like DNA at a scene, I mean, there's just you're gonna have to see your day in court just as well as I would, just as well as Hollis would, just as well as Delana would, just as well as Karma would if she was here, just as well as Sal would, just as well. If anybody in here that's from America in this chat right now, you would have to see your day in court if a knife sheath was at a scene with your DNA on it, skin cell or not, or skin cell, however, touch DNA, whatever you want to bring it. We would all be seeing our day.
But that's the way we are. I mean, look at OJ. I mean, and Scott Peterson, and all these big cases. The public has an opinion, like it or not. And
all day long.
As long as the press is there to fucking feed these people, that's just the way we are. We have our own opinion. With
Facts,
all
Ms.
of these
Potts,
cases.
I agree, Miss Potts. I agree 100%, Annie. I can't wait to see both sides present. I can't wait to see it either. And that really right there is going to be that's when I'm interested to hear from the defense. Yeah. I've been wanting to hear from the defense the whole time. I want to hear the reasoning on why he didn't do this crime, if that's what they're saying. I mean, everything is so silenced in this case at this point. It's like we don't get to hear shit until the trial comes.
And every time Miss Potts talks, she makes a lot of fucking sense, you know.
Mm-hmm.
As I'm thinking one way, all of a sudden she comes on, and boof, I'm like, wow, she's got a point.
She brings up great points, and she does bring up great points. We could hate her, we could talk this, that, but she brings up great points, and I get it.
Ms. Potts,
I get it.
If you're listening, I don't hate you at all. I listen to you. You have your opinion, because that's all we all are, opinions right now. There's no dead set. You're right, we're right. You know what I mean? So no, I don't hate you anyway, personally. Okay, you got your way. You got your side. We got our side. And the main thing is that the right fucking guy is convicted. I don't give a fuck if it's Jose Jimenez. The right fucking guy has got to be convicted, whether it's him or it's somebody else. You know?
It's always out for the right guy. You never want to put the wrong. If you got a wrong guy, then that means you got a killer on the loose. I mean, who the hell wants a killer on the loose near their kids?
And that's another thing. You know, if it wasn't him, let's just say it wasn't him, and the guy that really did it is watching all this shit. This is like a Jack the Ripper shit. You know what I mean? He's sitting back, smiling, laughing, and it just goes, it makes me think, why isn't he killing anybody else that way? He's not killing anybody else that way because he doesn't want to make this guy look innocent. He's figuring, all fingers are pointing to him. Let him take the heat, you know? But, fucked up, you know. Your mind goes all crazy
that, Irene, I honestly do think that too with Stephen Avery. I mean, the blood in the vial and how quick they got the testing back after automatically having. I don't know. There's a bunch of weird shit in that case.
Yeah, you know, and I feel sorry for that guy. There's times I feel sorry for him if he's fucking innocent. God, shit. But I'm not really following it, you know. I'm not really
I followed it. I've been following it since I started following it when the first day that Making a Murderer came out. I mean, I followed it from there on out.
Yeah.
And his defense lawyer that he has got the most. I'm pretty sure she had the most people exonerated from prison in the United States.
And she's been his lawyer since the beginning, right? All the way through?
No. Kathleen Zellner. Nah, she hasn't been since the beginning, but she took it on. I forget the day. I want to say 2018. I could be wrong. I have to go back and look. It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah, I'm sorry I came in late. I don't really get I don't know what other people here in the chat panel are saying. But
we're talking about a lot of stuff. I'm talking about a lot of stuff. Just everything as far as I mean, we were talking about Pangs. We were talking about we were talking about his ex. But this right here, I'll show you. Let me bring it up on screen.
Who's in here? Delana?
Yeah.
Hollis?
Ashley Flugel, Brian Koberger's rumored gay girlfriend died from heroin overdose in 20. All right, this is something Karma sent me. I don't see Karma up here no more, but
who else is here? Who's with us?
can you see the names on the screen?
Delana, I'm here, Papa Sal.
Delana, hi. Who else?
Hollis.
Delana and Hollis.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Hollis, how do you feel about all this?
And Karma too now.
Yeah, sorry guys, I lost signal. Blocked out.
Is Hollis here, or did I put her to sleep? Is she sleeping?
I think Hollis is here. It doesn't say she's not.
She's probably just listening for now.
Yeah, maybe she took a bathroom break. Who is that? Is that Isaac? Oh no, that's Karma. Wow, look at your picture there, Karma. You look different. Nice picture.
What'd you say, Pop?
Oh yeah, what's that guy talking about a black guy? I got your fucking black guy right here. I got your black guy.
I know the dude was racist as hell. I would chalk it up to stupidity. I'm having an issue that it's touched DNA. I'm not.
Who said that? I'm having an issue.
Michelle in chat. I'm not having an issue with touch DNA.
Yeah, no. Why? What do you mean?
It definitely needs to be explained.
Yeah.
I also don't understand why people are discounting the car footage. You know, they
discounting it. Did you say discounting it?
Yeah. Like it's not enough evidence or whatever. I mean, it's circumstantial, but you have. I mean, from 3:26, you see him leave.
Who cleans their car? Who cleans their car with bleach? Anybody here? Does anybody clean their car with bleach?
No.
I know I don't. I never have.
Yeah. I do, Papa Sal, after a murder.
I bet you do.
I mean, that's the only thing I can think of.
I mean, even the sisters said
allegedly. I mean, I'm just putting it out there, but I don't know nobody that cleans their car with bleach. I've seen a few people like I do, but okay.
Come on. I use that Armor All shit. I don't use bleach.
They need to find the big man on top. I don't know. I need to see that drugs were involved first to even make that decision. I mean, nobody's yet to show me a text message from any of these victims or drugs or anything like that.
Yeah, how about that girl that knew Xana that came on the show, and she said that she made me cry. You know, I've never cried so much. My eyes water up in this fucking case when I hear certain things or look at certain pictures. But that little girl, she sounded like a little girl anyway. I don't know if she was a woman or what. Do you remember her? What I'm talking about?
Angel Face, yes.
Yeah. You know, she said she knew her. There was no way that she was involved with drugs. And I don't know, that drug thing. Party house, baby, I'm sure. There was 150 people there the night before. I'm sure people were going into the bathroom and snorting fucking lines and doing whatever the fuck they were doing, popping fucking mollies. I'm sure. But to say that that's where they got their drugs, from that house, come on, guys. Really?
How is Brian going to get a fair trial?
Well, what do you mean, how's he going to get a fair trial? He's got a lawyer. His lawyer's going to defend him. That's what I'm saying. We, the people, have an opinion, but it's the lawyer that's going to...
It's been this way for a long time. People are like, how are you going to get a fair trial? How is Richard Allen going to get a fair trial?
Right. How's Scott Peterson going to get a fair trial? How's OJ going to get a fair trial? How is this one going to get a fair trial?
Hello. Hey, everybody.
To me,
Hi, Regina.
It's the evidence.
I can tell you how he's going to get a fair trial.
Hello, Regina.
I can tell you how he's going to get a fair trial. Bill
Break it
Thompson,
down for him, Regina.
prosecuting attorney. Bill Thompson's the fucking prosecuting attorney. How could he not get a fair trial? He's a fucking conservative. I mean, he's a fucking Democratic constitutionalist. Let me put it to you this way. Go look at his fucking bio page. He specifically said the reason he wanted to become a prosecuting attorney was so he could protect the defendant's rights.
You're not going to say hello to me, Regina?
How you doing, Papa Sal?
Yeah, you hurt my feelings there for a little bit. You know?
Hopefully you're doing good, Regina. I hope you're doing well, you know?
Yeah, don't let me
I'm doing good every day I wake up. God is that good.
Don't let me have to smack that fucking phone out of your hand there. You know what I mean?
Angelic darkness, I love you. Thank you, Papa.
Papa Sal, you the only person better slap my phone out my hand. I got that much respect for you. Somebody else knock it out of my hand, they liable to eat their own hand.
I hear you. I'm right behind you. No,
so have you guys... Go ahead, Papa. Go ahead.
No. Yeah, you do it. Take it up, because you're right.
I'm just wondering how many... I'm just wondering how many people have actually looked up Bill Thompson and his track record. I mean, this dude goes easy on pedos. Let's see. You can go to Moscow and go on a shooting spree and murder people, and you're still not going to get the death penalty. Everybody, all this stuff, oh, this is a man's life at stake. Bullshit. I highly doubt Brian Kohberger's life is at stake. I mean, I posted up all the facts in Discord. You guys tell me I didn't prove my point.
But Regina, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What if a majority of the family members want the death penalty?
It's split right down the middle. I can already tell you which family members want the death penalty and which ones don't.
Yeah,
I know. I can too.
Yeah. But how is it up to the judge? How does that work?
No,
would be up to the judge.
Well, it depends on whether or not you guys look. I'm going to put it to you like this: it don't matter what it goes through court at this point. I'm going to tell you straight up, in my honest opinion of everything I have learned about Bill Thompson, it don't matter if the jury does give Kohberger the death sentence. He'll never see death by freaking Bill Thompson's hand. Bill Thompson is, look, Idaho might be a damn death penalty state, but Bill Thompson is not a death penalty lawyer.
I mean, here's a guy right here on death row in Idaho.
But who put him there? It wasn't Bill Thompson.
Let's see. Let's check it out. Where is it at? What is his name? Abdullah Azad?
Yeah, no, Bill Thompson didn't put him on death row. He didn't prosecute him.
Who did it?
I don't know, but it wasn't Bill Thompson. Bill Thompson's only had a handful of first-degree murder cases. He doesn't like going to trial.
Okay, so the last person on death row over here was in 2004. Convicted of first-degree murder for the arson death of his wife in Ada County. Okay, so that was, I'm pretty sure this would be the last one then.
If you look at that guy up, if you look that guy up on Wikipedia or somewhere along on the internet, you should find what judge was on his case.
I know Bill Thompson wasn't the prosecuting attorney. I've gone through every trial for first-degree murder that Bill Thompson has imposed. Look, even when he did impose the death penalty, even whenever Bill Thompson imposed the death penalty, he has always gone back and worked with the defendant and has what's it called, where they changed the sentence, commuted sentences from life to death after he sought the death penalty. It's like a big ass show he'll put on for the media and seek the death penalty, and then he'll go back later in a quiet back room with a judge somewhere and change the sentence. He's just not a death sentence prosecutor. He's not.
Doesn't say. This was in Boise. Let me see.
That could be some kind of a strategy on his part.
But Regina, at the same time, has he ever come across such a heinous case as this, though?
Well, you tell me. You tell me.
Have a cigarette, Regina. Have a cigarette.
No, I'm smoking a doobie, man.
I mean, has he ever come across something of this caliber, of this nature,
Well,
so to speak?
Well, let me tell you what I know for a fact he has come across.
Okay.
Jonathan Lee, the mass shooter, Jonathan Lee. That happened right there in Moscow, Idaho. Okay.
How old was he?
He was the guy that shot up Moscow, Idaho. That Asian guy that shot up Moscow, Idaho. They prosecuted him. Sought the death penalty, John Lee.
How many people were killed?
He killed 3 or 4.
Well, see, check this out. Nicholas Cruz killed 17 teenagers and injured 17 in the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, and he got life.
Yeah, it was like this.
Right.
I had to push the button.
But everybody, all these, look, this cracks me up. I got to tell y'all, this cracks me up. Let me tell you, it's hilarious. All these people out here like, oh no, the prosecution is doing Brian Koberger so dirty, and the secret grand jury, this is all under the rug, and this is so bull spit. Let me tell you something about Bill Thompson. Bill Thompson cares more about the defendant than he does the victims' families. From everything I have dug up on this man, he cares about. Let me tell you something. Go to Moscow, Idaho, and commit murder. You might get 10 to 15 years in prison and walk. You might, if you go to Moscow, Idaho, as a murderer at 17 years old, killed his best friend, killed one of his friends, buried the body. A year later, he was in a halfway house. A year later, he was in a halfway house, out of prison after committing murder.
Yeah, but Regina, this is a slaughter. This is a slaughterhouse. He went in there with a knife and personally slashed and slaughtered just about everybody in that house, but 2. I mean,
right. Well, did you see that one case? Did you see that other first-degree murder case he tried where he went in there and the 2 guys, they beat, tortured, and SA'd a woman for days. For days, they did the most horrible things you can imagine to a woman. They did that crap to her. Do you know how much time they spent in prison?
How much?
It's a bunch of backroom deals that go on. They're going to put it all on for the media and maybe ask for the death sentence, but it will never. Koberger won't ever see death by the hands of the state. It won't happen, in my opinion.
That's what I mean. Maybe this guy's got some kind of a strategy where you go in, you're asking for the worst possible thing, which is death. Okay? And then when you're in, you kind of break it down to life in prison or whatever. He goes against it. It could be a strategy thing with this guy.
Hey, well, he makes a lot of plea deals, don't you know?
Right.
He makes a lot of plea deals. He's been in office for 20 plus years, and he has actually took to trial 3 first-degree murder cases that I can find in his history. 3. That's saying something, because there's been a lot more than just 3 murders.
I'm sure.
In his county.
Well, they said what? There was how many murders since 2005 or something like that, or 7 years? There hasn't been a murder case in 7 years or something like that. 5 years.
I think they're talking about Jonathan Lee whenever they talk about there hasn't been a big murder in Idaho that long.
Oh, no. I thought I heard it was.
I call him Jonathan Lee, but it's John Lee.
I remember hearing that, Moscow hasn't had a murder case in 5 years or 7 years, whatever the hell it was. I'm wrong. Right?
I mean, this guy sympathizes. Look, I put some court documents up in Discord with Bill Thompson. Bill Thompson, a pedophile. This was an essay of multiple victims, minors, men. Was charged with, all these assaults of minors. And Bill Thompson was all for him having his parental rights until DHS had to step back in and say, wait a minute. This man can't have contact with his kid because he sexually assaulted his kid. Right. I mean, he sympathizes. Y'all are not understanding what I'm telling you. Bill Thompson is for the defendant. That's why he chose to be a prosecutor. It says it in his bio and everything. He is for the rights of the defendant.
So
And that's why he keeps getting reelected.
Then why is he a prosecutor? Why doesn't he go on the other? Why doesn't he?
Because he believes in giving everyone their fair trial. Because if you take someone that's a constitutionalist and make them a prosecutor, then the defendant's rights are going to be upheld to the fullest.
Well, I would really think everybody wants a fair trial, both sides. That's how
absolutely.
I would
of
think
course,
both
absolutely.
sides want a fair
absolutely.
It has got to be by the book, or else everyone will just go crazy if it's not by the book. The conspiracies will go wild. I want it so by the book. But I do have this one thing to say. I mean, the way I look at it.
You're welcome. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, Regina, if I see what you're saying about this guy, he's soft on crime. He is soft on the death penalty. I get what you're saying, and I am too. I really do. I have a hard time with the death penalty. But okay, so say I take my dog to Central Park, and say my dog gets off its leash and attacks 4 other individuals' pets and annihilates and mauls and kills all 4 of those other animals' pets in broad daylight in front of everybody. What do you think is going to happen to my dog? An animal's an animal.
They're going to put him down.
Well, that depends. That depends.
They're going to put that dog down.
Yeah, they're going to
not in all cases.
Down.
Not in all cases.
Well, there comes a point where a species is no longer a species.
Right.
It's not right, but I mean, not in all cases.
I think if the public were privy to the autopsy photos, I think it would change a ton of people's minds on.
Forget it.
It would make it more realistic.
I don't.
Yeah, right now, every time we talk about this, it's Idaho 4. Idaho 4. But who is the fucking Idaho 4? These were beautiful kids. These were beautiful, educated kids.
Yeah.
These were kids.
Who died?
Yeah, you could argue with me. You could argue with me and say, well, they were 21. They were 20. They were fucking just starting out in the world.
Yeah.
They're just starting out. Really?
Right.
And they were massacred. Okay. That K-bar knife went right through bone and slashes and all kinds of fucking shit.
It's horrific.
If they did show us the pictures, I mean, I'm sure people would throw their fucking guts up. Just like that cop did when he went into the house. He came back out and he fucking vomited.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I'm absolutely sure it was horrific.
Yeah,
it was horrific.
I think if people could be a fly on the wall that morning before anybody woke up, I think a lot of these other YouTubers would shut the fuck up, especially if they had kids.
Don't get me started on these other fucking people.
I know.
Well, what makes me mad? What makes me mad about the thing is everybody out here saying, "Oh, Koberger's getting railroaded. They're doing all this sneaky shit, and they're trying to frame him and put him up there and just make a spectacle." Bull crap.
Yeah, let's do that to a criminology PhD major. See how that goes off real well.
I mean, seriously, y'all have it's actually blowing my mind. To the point that I have to speculate. Koberger actually planned where he was going to commit the murders. Oh man, I'm getting a phone call. I'm going to stop this. Yeah, let's just ignore that. Okay. Anyways, it was my ex-husband. The thing is
the sister.
It's so lenient. Bill Thompson is so lenient and just, I mean, he's tried. If you look at his cases, some of them have been atrocious acts against other human beings. None of these people are on death row.
You know, we all know politics and religion should never mix, but you can't. I mean, and I'm probably going to get shot to shit in chat about this, but you know, some people's religious beliefs do get involved in their political or work environment, you know, and so some people just don't believe in the death penalty and they believe they should have life.
I'm just trying to I'm trying to understand for everybody who's in chat that keeps saying he deserves a fair trial. Like, who in here is saying he doesn't?
Yeah, he totally deserves a fair trial.
Can anybody tell me who said? Can somebody repeat or show me or pre-record anywhere in this live where somebody said he doesn't deserve a fair trial?
Right.
Because some people just look like straight up BK fans. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh yeah, they are.
Well,
No, I'm being straight up.
Yeah,
just the way
but
that I look at it. I haven't heard one person on my
But-
panel one time say
Yeah.
BK doesn't deserve a fair trial. Put him, lock him up now, kill him now.
No,
I can't wait for the trial.
Yeah, Brian, you know, none of us are saying anything like that, remotely that. We want
As
him
of
to
right
have
now,
a
I
fair
think he's
trial.
the guy.
None of us said
think he's the guy.
anything like that. So I don't know where they're coming off saying shit like that, because none of us are saying that.
We're all saying
I'm being straightforward. Like, I think he's the guy so far. Just what I've been shown. I mean, like, I don't need, like I said, sheath at the scene. Now you got to see your day in court. It would, every single one of us as Americans know we would be facing that fucking right. We would be facing that right now, no matter if we were innocent or guilty. But it's the simple fact, if your DNA is at the scene, it's got to be explained, especially on the alleged sheath of a murder weapon.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
I'm sorry, I'm live.
Yeah, everyone deserves a fair trial, and we're all in agreement that he's going to get his fair trial, and it's going to answer a gazillion questions we all have. But I think, you know, a lot of us at the beginning, it was a whodunit incident, and I learned a big lesson. You know, I learned a huge lesson because
some people look like BK fans though, because I see them on other channels and they talk way different than they watch, and when they come over here, they talk different. So I be seeing them talk real different on one end and then come over here and try to be reasonable as if they need to look a certain type of way to me. I don't give a fuck. If you're a BK fan, then wear it loud and proud. Just say it.
Gee, let him talk. Let him talk. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, I call that having way too much time on your hands.
That's how I feel about it. Don't come over here and try to act different when you come up in my chat. Be the same way you are when you're in them other joints, because I see that shit.
I don't care if you have a different opinion. I really don't care if you have a different opinion. I really don't. Just show me some proof of it. You know, show me video footage of it or show me the documentation of it. Just show it to me. I'm willing to be open to anything. I just need to see the evidence of that. And if you can't show me any evidence, then I'm not going to buy into some willy-nilly kind of.
I just don't understand how people expect me to look over. I don't understand how people expect me to look over a fucking somebody's a knife sheath being on two victims' beds. I just don't understand that with DNA on it. Touch DNA or not, I can go over that and argue with you all day. You could never have me overlook DNA at the scene. You could never have me overlook that, especially on the alleged murder weapon. That wasn't the murder weapon. It was the sheath of a alleged murder weapon.
Yeah.
There is only one conspiracy theory out there that I would ever even maybe give credit if I had proof for it. And that would be, and this is going to be a weird one, but the background would be that because Brian and the other guy,
Brent.
Yeah. Just because they live close together, maybe they chatted, who knows? Maybe he took his survey, who knows? Being PTSD, who knows? Maybe he decided I'll be your lookout, who knows? And then maybe he couldn't handle it and he went crazy. I don't know about that. That is the only part of a conspiracy theory that I can see being thrown in where I would be like, oh, okay, fuck, I was wrong.
Well.
That would be the only random weird thing I could see. But I'm not seeing that. I'm not making the connection with the two at all. I'm just not seeing it.
I have that proof. I don't think Brent had anything to do with it either. That poor guy, he's dead. All right.
Let me put it. Let me put it all to you like this.
David, I don't understand. What do you mean both sides don't know? I mean, one side, I know that they have alleged DNA in a sheath. I know that.
Yeah, but
and
also
Ping coming back and Ping's at the scene allegedly connecting to the Wi-Fi, all that other shit. I mean, what else do you need?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think BK
to see your day in court. What else do you need?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, I didn't know because my thing messed up a minute ago. Here's what I'm gonna say about it, and this is my 100% opinion on it. All this BS about Kohberger's getting railroaded, y'all drop the bullshit. I done did all the research on it, and let me tell you what, it wouldn't surprise me if Brian Kohberger didn't pick Moscow, Idaho to commit these murders because he knew he wouldn't face death if he did get caught. Second of all, they are not railroading him. Bill Thompson is a constitutionalist, and he become a prosecutor to ensure the rights of the defendants. Okay, he has never put anyone to death, and even the cases that he has put to trial and sought the death penalty, they got out of death. He's not going to put Brian Kohberger to death. Okay. Second of all, Bill Thompson is the kind of guy you're going to have to come at him with some hellacious evidence before he puts you on trial. There is more than just the damn knife sheath. They aren't telling us because they are seeking a fair trial for Kohberger, and they need an untainted jury pool to do that. All this shit about him getting railroad, just drop the cap. Stop the cap. It's getting freaking old. Okay? It's getting old. Do the damn research. Find out who's doing the prosecuting. I'm telling you, if you looked up a 20-year prosecutor with such a track record of making sweetheart deals for murderers, pedophiles, rapists, and whatever, you would be amazed at Bill Thomps's track record.
I was going to ask you how long he's been in operation and how old he was.
I'd have to pull it back up. It's all in. I don't know if you're in our Discord or not, but it's all in Discord. I went and did all the research. T-REV knows. Everybody was laughing because they were like, "Oh my God, what a big link!" And I was like, "That's a bunch of different links."
Gotcha.
But he's not going to railroad Kohberger. I mean, they had to come with more than just even, I'm going to say, his DNA on a knife sheath in order to get him to put this dude on trial.
They definitely have more than that, and if they don't, then that's where I will have a problem.
Absolutely.
If they don't have more than that, then I will have a problem.
But doesn't the jury get to decide death or life?
Yes.
Yes and no.
Absolutely. And if they can't come to a decision on it, the judge will sentence him and not give him death. From what I read on Idaho law and Idaho death penalty. If you look it up, it's on page 3 out of 25.
Right. But what everyone also has to understand in this case is he may initially get the death sentence, but it is likely to be reverted later if you look at Bill Thompson's track record. I mean, it's just that simple.
Regina,
right, so that really doesn't matter. Yeah.
Here's a question for you guys. What do you think if he makes a deal for life instead of death if he admits to all of his other crimes, should there be any?
Well, isn't that why he didn't speak? That's why he didn't plead no guilty or innocent, because he wants to reserve that right to make a deal later on. I heard something about that.
Regina?
The reason he stood silent was because he didn't want a plea right at this time to reflect or to be made just in case there was a deal offered. Because whenever you plead, like if you plead guilty, then you're going to get sentenced. I mean, just, you know what I'm saying? Then comes the sentencing process. But the longer you can draw it out, with and let me tell you something, it's in the interest of the state just as much as it is Kohberger for them to make a deal in a lot of ways, because the expense of this trial upon the state is going to be huge. The burden of the state right now is massive, you guys, and the burden of the defense is massive right now. But I think at this point, anyone in their right mind, if they knew Bill Thompson, would be looking at this going, holy shit, this guy has to be the guy.
The thing is, though, Angela, I don't give a fuck about the media. I said fuck the media before a Cuomo interview and fuck the media after a Cuomo interview. I could give a fuck about what the media is trying to. The media can railroad and do whatever the fuck they want to do.
Yeah, the media wanted to even clothe you a specific way and told you to take your hat off.
How many cases have you followed, Angela, that the media has fucking been involved in? Probably.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
There's been so many different fucking cases. The media's.
How many different crime networks and channels are there?
So just
there's your answer.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
So this is another thing I was wondering about. Now that some time has gone by, a few days, what do y'all think as far as, you think the sisters ratted him out and sank him?
Well, I seen in the chat, I think I seen, because my eyes suck, but somebody said something about where's the proof that he bleached his car? I don't know who said that. The sister went outside because he was wearing the gloves and he had the white Elantra. And there was talk of the media that he was cleaning the car or some shit. And she went outside and seen that he bleached the car. She smelt it or something like that. And she went back in the house and the father put a rest to it and said, all right, stop. No more of this shit. He didn't want to hear it, that he was guilty. But I heard the sister was like, well, you know what? He's been weird all his life. What is he doing with these plastic gloves on? And they're looking for a guy with a white Elantra in Moscow. Oh, fuck. And one thing after another, she went outside and checked his fucking car. His sister.
So you know so much. Why aren't you working for the prosecution?
Well, what a lot of people don't understand, essentially, is what I'm saying, is Bill Thompson being the prosecutor is in Kohberger's best interest.
Of course. Well,
boom. There, I'm laying it all out there for you. Hey, that's the moral of the story here.
Hey, are you dating this guy, Bill Thompson? Are you dating this guy, Bill Thompson? Do you have any connection with him? You mentioned him a lot, Regina. Yeah. Is he taking you to lunch or dinner or anything like that?
No. Let me tell you what happened, Papa Sal. The other day, T-REV had a live, and Detective John mentioned, about the death penalty probably being sought because of the demographics of the state. And I was like, we're not looking at all the story here. Holy shit. We know the defense lawyers and stuff, but what do we know about Bill Thompson? So I went and just did I had 128 pages open at one time researching this guy and dug into old court records and all this, that, and the other, and was like, man, Kohberger probably ain't even going to see the death penalty. This is crazy shit. That's what happened.
Yeah, they should definitely keep the house up until trial. I agree, Lauren.
Absolutely. That would be fucking nuts. That would be nuts. Shit.
And that's in the fairness for Brian Kohberger also. That house staying up. If that house staying up is not just, and it's in defense on both sides.
Bill Thompson did mandate in one of the murder cases that he tried that the place of the murders be left intact. So it wouldn't surprise me if he doesn't petition the court, to make the house stand for the trial. And it is in the best interest of Kohberger and the state. But I'm going to tell you right now, if they come at me with some stuff, Brian Kohberger, you guys, I think he did it, because just knowing the prosecutor and everything going on, what little bit of evidence we've been leaked, I think Kohberger did it, because I don't think Bill Thompson would put this man up on trial if he didn't, first of all. And second of all, I don't think that this is Brian Kohberger getting railroaded. I think that they have overwhelming evidence, and it's going to come out, and it's just he's fried. He's fried. Whether he sees life in prison or the death penalty, he's. It's not a setup. It's not a damn person getting framed. Oh, poor Brian Kohberger. You guys, they have legit reasons to think this man did it, or he still wouldn't be behind bars.
Mike John.
I do.
But if they show me overwhelming evidence that Brian Kohberger, or if the defense can show me that Brian Kohberger had a reason to be in that house, and if the defense can prove to me that Brian Koberger didn't stalk them women, and if the defense can prove to me that Brian Koberger was somewhere else at that time, then I'm going to have to say Brian Koberger didn't do it. But right now, all I see is Bill Thompson, a prosecutor who hates taking cases to trial to start with. Let me tell you what, just by his track record, and is a constitutionalist that is there for the defendant. I don't see this man getting arrested and being held like this unless he committed this crime. It's not in the cards. No matter how many people grasp, no matter how many people reach, that's not what's going on here. So all the conspiracy and all the blue.
Regina, let's rephrase it to this way: they have enough to hold anybody in America if they found that same shit. They have enough to hold any of us. Let's rephrase it to that way, because that's the way. It's not just Brian Koberger that would be held. It'd be any one of us that would be held if they had the same shit that they have now. And I guess I got to repeat it, but it is the truth.
Well, here's what blows my mind. He supposedly got the best defense attorney. And I'm sorry, but if I got the best defense attorney and they got some exculpatory evidence that could get my ass out of jail, why the hell they ain't done it yet?
Hey, look, Marcia Clark was supposed to be the best prosecuting attorney. They had the best of the best, and they still let OJ go. I mean, that doesn't really matter. And who cares about if he gets killed or if he spends his life in prison? Main thing is the guy was found guilty, if he's guilty, and whatever his fate is, it is.
What facts? Everything I've heard is alleged. Fuck the fact. What facts? The facts of the sister stories bullshit. I don't know.
I didn't say facts. I said fate.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about a comment, Papa Sal.
Oh.
I'm reading Mike Jones' comment. He said, T-REV said, "Don't come in here with no facts. The sister story is bullshit." I didn't say I believe the sister.
Well, why?
Who said I believe the sister? Can you quote me somewhere in this live where I said I believe Brian's sister?
I don't even know what Brian's sister said. Do we?
Well,
wasn't whatever Brian's sister said. It's in the gag order, and we don't have privy to that.
I don't even know what Brian. I've heard what Brian's sister said. I don't believe any of it until I actually hear her say it or a written statement.
Right.
It's all hearsay until then.
That's all bullshit to be.
At the same time, I gotta say, Dateline don't seem like the kind of company going to risk that kind of a lawsuit to put some information out there.
Right. That's where we heard it from, Dateline.
Well, I guarantee you the police have them under interrogation, and it's been videotaped. So I'm sure a lot of that's going to come out at trial. If he was my brother, I'm sorry, but if based on the evidence, and he was my brother, I would have no problem going in there and telling him how creepy he was.
Well,
you know what I mean? Especially if I come home from the holidays and I'm going to my mom.
You said it's a whole ass echo chamber, but people are still listening. You ain't got to listen if you don't like it. The fuck?
Well, I mean, if his own family goes out to check his car when he gets home from the holidays because they think he's done it.
No, I'm just speaking in general. If somebody don't like the panel, you don't like the live, you ain't got to watch.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, ignore them, buddy. Don't even let them bother you. And everybody,
it ain't even that they're bothering me. I'm saying in general, people complain about what they're. If you don't like it, you ain't got to watch.
Yeah, same thing in chat. It
is what it is. Just like when people don't like to hear when people are up here talking about Brian being innocent. The same. I get both complaints on both sides. I say it to both sides. You don't like it, don't be here. If you don't, you know what I mean? Simple as that. If you don't like what you hear on a phone call, don't be here. If you don't like the panel, don't be here. If you don't like, what's the sense of complaining in chat? It happens every time I do anything. People complain about whatever you're talking about. It's like,
I just want one piece of freaking evidence saying Koberger wasn't there before people say he didn't do it.
Exactly.
I mean, it's an echo chamber on all the other channels of the shit about Demetrius, Emma, this and that. Keep following that shit. Follow that storyline. I'm not about to talk about something that ain't even out there. That's just put out there by people. That's all that is.
You know what, T-REV? That's what happened to me last night. Along my algorithm, here comes this thumbnail, and I'm not going to say who they were. Keep the peace. But I clicked on it, and I started to listen, and I really tried to grasp with intellect the concept. Needless to say, I couldn't handle it. I changed the channel. Change the channel. Couldn't handle it. It was
I do
ridiculous
the
what they
same
were
thing.
saying.
I do the same thing. If I think something's really ridiculous, I just change the channel. You know, they say that maybe he came in by parachute and fucking landed on the fucking, you know, get the fuck out of here, you clown motherfucker. And I'm surprised at him. I love that guy. What the fuck did he come up with that shit? Parachute. Get out of here. Next.
But you know
I gotta
what?
pick
You know
and
what's funny,
choose what
Sal?
channels I.
What's
Do you
that?
know what's
I gotta pick and.
They actually showed a video of a guy who actually can do that kind of a skill. That's what was so funny.
Well, yeah,
but we know it didn't happen.
The guy hit the fucking railing, right? Didn't he?
Yeah, it kind of slammed in. He took a crash landing for sure.
That was funny.
But it gets ridiculous.
Oh Lord, unbelievable.
I'm still on the part where they have his DNA at the crime scene. You know, I haven't moved past that part.
I can't get past it either.
Well, there you go.
Exactly, because you know it goes back. What's that old saying? You can. I'll give you a simile. You can put a tortilla shell on shit, but it's still gonna taste like shit. It don't matter how much they.
Mexican food anyway.
Well, okay. If you put shit between two pieces of bread, it's still a shit sandwich, man. I mean, come on. You're still eating shit, no matter if it's a sandwich or not. Here's the whole thing. Whether or not people, if it gets dismissed as evidence or whatever, the fact is they found, regardless of whether or not it ever even goes before a jury. In my humble opinion, look, motherfucker, they find your DNA on a knife sheath beside 4 people that have been stabbed to death. You got a lot of explaining to do.
I'm gonna be in jail. I'm gonna be in jail right now if that's me.
Period.
And you guys would be making all the opinions on me, and then the same people fighting in the comments saying otherwise it'd be the same exact way.
Not me, buddy. I'd be sneaking you in a vape. Don't worry about it. I'd sneak you in some shit.
Okay, Papa Sal and Regina and Delana and Karma and T. I just sent you in VIP chat the picture of the dude. The picture of the dude who's like in confinement, sort of with a Koberger. Not sharing the same cell, but they're both next door to each other, being kept away from general population.
I seen that guy. I seen it. Yeah. I
I
can't touch my phone because I'll never get back in.
Take a good look at what he's got. And Karma, don't say anything.
There's no way I can. I don't know how to see it.
I can't touch my phone. I won't get back in.
I sent it to T. I sent it to T in VIP.
I've seen it.
What is it, T? What is it? I seen the guy's picture. I seen who he's next to.
That's one sick guy.
But what did he do?
Where? Show me where he was supposed to be at Kopeka's.
He raped a 15-year-old.
BK supposedly at Kopeka's apartment, yet it's being ignored. Also, the fact so many warrants went out the day of the SWAT.
And Hollis, let me just say, girl, I love your glasses.
Email it to me. And please let it not be a YouTube video.
Can't see without him, Regina.
Somebody just saying it either.
Yeah, I need to borrow them, Hollis. You know, I need fucking glasses.
They are cute.
Don't worry, Pop. I lose mine all the time. Blind as a bat without them.
Watch it be the same shit that I've seen already. Like that, I get this type of stuff, these comments, and then I get these emails, and they're like, "Look, listen," and then I go and listen, and it's a YouTube channel saying "Break Kopeka right here." I'm telling you, and then you go and you go to these sources that it's being put up from, and they're not even trusted sources. So it's like you can't believe that either.
Yeah. And what about this thing where they're coming out with that audio? That's so fucking old. I mean, isn't that the same audio we all listened to from the neighbor's house that they claim that?
I have heard 2 different audios.
Me too.
One of them sounds like it just might be a legit audio, like of someone's ring door here and the neighbors fighting or something. Really? And the other one is just such BS.
Smiley Mama, let them know. Sorry, Regina, go.
But I'm not, look, unless it's in the trial, unless it's evidence in the trial, I'm not I'm not gonna say it's a real one. We can't know that. We can't know that. We can speculate all we want to, but
Right.
I'm not gonna put any faith in anything like that until the trial. Period. End of story.
That audio was debunked, and it came from a domestic violence situation that happened. That was debunked a long time ago.
Yeah, I thought so too. But now they're saying there's two different ones.
Yeah. I think that's the guy.
Yeah, there's two different videos. There's two different audio recordings now. I mean, I'm sorry.
Wow.
I just don't believe
hear
any
the
of
other
it.
one.
I don't think anyone has access to that audio. That's locked up tight.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it is.
Come on. Yeah. Yeah, really? You're gonna hear
what Annie is trying to say, Papa Sal, and everybody on the panel, she's saying the evidence we have, he wasn't there. Is his phone off and not pinging there as well as prior ping being unreliable to his actual location admitted by law enforcement in the PCA? That's what she's saying.
Well, that is correct. He shut off his phone or something. There's not pinging, but there is video footage of him doing 3 passes before entering the residence, the 4th pass, and they have all the video footage on his route. So whether they have the pings or not, they have video footage of him driving that whole route back and forth.
4 times. 3, 4 times, right?
And also it's very telling because he did turn his phone off.
Why the fuck would you even bring a phone? I mean, really, this guy's supposed to be so. Why would you even bring a phone?
He turned it back on at 5. I forget exactly 5 something. I know it was turned back on at 5 something.
Maybe he needed.
Right, but why did he go there the next morning?
He turned it back on at 4:48 a.m. He turned it off at 2:47 a.m. and turned it back on at 4:48.
Yeah,
now,
it's incriminating of when he turned it off. That's how I can answer Andy.
Are we sure he's turning it on and off, or maybe he lost the signal? Could it be he lost?
He put it on airplane mode. I do believe it said.
They only lost signal when he was traveling from Pullman, Washington, to his Colorado trip to Pennsylvania.
So he didn't hit any dead spots or nothing like that.
No.
All right.
But that's what was. I mean, his phone. He turned it off, and during the time frame of what would be where he didn't want to be found where he was, and that's what. So, but the cameras caught him. If that helps Annie's question.
And at 4:04 a.m. is when BK entered the 4th time via video footage.
So let's switch the tables for all the moms in chat right now that are speaking this highly BK fair. I see the fair trial comments. I see the echo chamber comments. I see all these different comments, right? But let's take, if you're a mom and your son or daughter is murdered and there's a knife sheath at the scene with touch DNA on it and all these different things in this PCA, would you want him free or would you want him to see his day in court? Fair trial.
If that was my son or daughter, I would fucking want him dead.
I'm asking the chat. I'm asking the people who are in here. I know some of these people that are talking have kids. If this was your child and his life got taken and this was found at the scene, would you want him to have his day in court? Or would you be screaming, well, you know, there's something that's just off about this in general. Would you be screaming that and like, oh, he should be free? Or would you want to see if this was the guy or not?
Especially when you go down to the friggin' coroner's office and you see the body and you see what this fuck did to my kid. That would fucking.
You know what, T-REV, that's a very good point. Why are so many people ready to deny these families justice?
So is it 1? So how do we vote? 1 for justice or 2 for we don't think Brian did this?
Who said that?
Well, how do we vote?
Well, I think all of us here think that he did it, right?
I want to know how many of these people in chat that think Brian Koberger didn't do it want him moving in next door to their teenage daughter.
Without having a trial.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying, so for the mothers in chat or fathers that could be both speaking from both sides or saying that, you know, something's just off about this in general, put yourself in the mom or dad's shoes and say this is your child who lost their life, knife sheath at the scene found on the bed between two victims with DNA. Would you want this guy to see his day in court? Would you want him to see his day in court so we could possibly find out the true story or not? That's my question to them.
You know, T.
First thing that crosses my mind.
On that day, the parents heard that their daughter was killed. Steve and Mrs. Gonzalez heard that their daughter was killed. And, you know, take that phone call. Like, what? What are you talking about? No. I just talked to her last night. You know, and then you're trying to call your her best friend, Maddie. Maddie's not answering.
Thank you, Kel.
Not until, what, 5 o'clock that night? 5 o'clock that night, they find out, they get a knock on the door. All that day, their stomachs must have been sick. No, it can't be her. No, it can't be her. No. That's the fucking kicker right there. Like, that anguish, that like, oh God, please don't let it be that. Please.
Thank you, Viv Keenan, for answering. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Exactly.
In jail, awaiting a fair trial. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that in jail, and yes, I do think this is the guy because I mean there is DNA in that knife sheath at the scene. But like I said, the defense can sway my mind. The defense can change the way that I think. If there is some valid points brought up, then I'd be like, damn, well, somebody else could be possible for, you know, killing my child or whatever in that sense. That's what I'm saying. People are just overlooking. They hear, oh, well, I think this is the guy, and they automatically think you don't want a fair trial and you convicted him. Just because I think it's the guy right now doesn't mean I'll think it's the guy once the defense gets up on that stand and they start battling in that courtroom. That doesn't mean that. Because my mind can be swayed. I am a human being. I can be swayed into the truth. The truth is the truth. You can't run from the truth. So the truth here is if this guy that is in jail right now was somehow framed in any type of way, I feel like the world will show that. I feel like the universe will bring that to fruition.
If they have his DNA on the victims or under their fingernails,
I've been saying that one.
Or mixed in their blood. I'm sorry, y'all. I have to go 100%. That man needs put to death. Absolutely nothing else. He needs put to death. If they have his DNA on their bodies and under the fingernails, that man needs put to death. Now, if they can't show me overwhelming evidence that his DNA is at the crime scene, which they already have the knife sheath, but that's not going into trial, so I have to look at it from a jury perspective.
Why is
if they can't show me any DNA evidence that he was there, going off of everything there is with the circumstantial evidence, I'm going to have to put this man behind bars for the rest of his life.
Well, wait a minute. That's what I asked when I first came in. I wanted to know, why isn't the night sheet going to be in the trial? Why are they not doing that?
They're trying to bury that evidence. The defense is.
Why? That was their whole thing. That was the whole reason we're thinking the way we're thinking. Is this fucking sheet with his thumbprint or whatever the hell he did. Now all of a sudden you're not using it. We're fighting each other and causing riots and this and that. Now you're not fucking using the one thing.
There we go. So that's what I'm saying.
Come on.
So Papa Sal, that explains to me they have to have some concrete shit then to get this conviction without that. I promise you that. They have to have concrete evidence to go through and get a conviction, or you can't even entertain a death penalty.
That's right.
Right, they're going to have DNA physical evidence, or they're going to have so much overwhelming circumstantial evidence that there's no denying it.
It's almost as if they're saying in your face, we're not even going to use the knife sheet. We got plenty of fucking evidence. We're not even going to use it.
Jay Lord,
like,
you're
whoa.
right too. Jay Lord, is it Jay Lord? He says Xana's mom don't want him often. Maybe some of the victims' families don't want people. They don't believe in the death penalty. You got to respect that, even if you think eye for an eye. As somebody, you got to respect that some people don't like death penalties, and that's just that. And I actually do respect that.
Yeah.
You know, even though I respectfully disagree with certain things when it comes to it, but I respect that somebody would feel that way differently. You know, they don't believe in putting somebody to death.
They're
So, I mean,
peaceful.
I respect that.
That family is so peaceful. They're planting tulips, and they keep to themselves. And when you do hear from them, they're so like, I don't know. I would be more like Steve, but they're not.
Yeah, the Chapins were like, they just want, what did they say? They said they'll be fine with the wheels of justice doing what the wheels of justice kind of do.
Right.
They're taking kind of the high road with this one.
God bless them. I tell you, God
bless them.
Yep.
For that,
And
yes. But at the same
that.
time, I have to look at it from this standpoint. There wasn't one victim. There wasn't two victims. There wasn't three victims. There were 4 lives brutally taken in a horrible manner. And I think that each and every parent individually has a right to their say in justice in this, period.
Yeah.
So why do people think that the police were not consistent? What makes people not? I hear so many callers call in on the lives that T does where they just say, I just don't trust law enforcement. And then that's their reason for believing, I don't know
Well,
what.
they think they're corrupt. They truly believe they're corrupt. They do. That's why they're saying what they're saying.
Well, I mean, there's a few bad seeds in every group.
Right, I get it. But
I don't trust some law enforcement.
That the cops on this case are corrupt.
I don't trust some law enforcement.
Don't ask me
but
why.
At the end of the day, when it all comes down to it, because let me tell you, there are these podunk towns and these small local law enforcement agencies that are corrupt, okay? But whenever you bring in the city, the county, the state, and the FBI, all
CIA,
these people are not going to come together just to frame some freak one. And why in the hell would they choose a criminology major to frame? I mean, come on.
I know.
That's what I agree with.
I know it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's how I feel as well. Why pick him?
Agencies
available?
Yeah, all these FBI, CIA, ABC, AEIOU, all of them are gonna fucking cover for this guy. Really? Who the fuck is he? You know, they make it sound like a Oswald situation. He's a patsy. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
Right.
Well, I agree. I've heard so much talk about, that Moscow Police Department is, not very well trained or have a lot of experience for something like this. However, in the PCA, it says by Dustin Blaker's statement and Brett Payne's statement that when they arrived to the scene, upon arrival, the Idaho State Police forensic team were on the scene preparing to begin process.
Very true.
So, and that was at 4:00. So they had to get all their ducks in a row to prepare that. But it's the Idaho State Police forensic team that was processing the scene.
Very true too, Angela. It was an isolated, targeted attack. No one else has to worry about BK. You're not his target. Absolutely, day in court. Yes, of course. Of course, I want him to have his day in court. That's all I'm saying. I'm bringing that to the point of fruition here. If what was in that PCA was against your child, your blood, your family member, would you put this guy out on bond? I mean, that's the point I was making. That's the point I've been making this whole time.
Absolutely not. If it was my kid, if my beautiful little girl was slaughtered like that, God bless this guy.
All right. So what I'm gathering from reading the comments, right? From what I'm gathering from reading the comments is a lot of people are saying. So okay, I see what a lot of people are saying. A lot of people are saying that MSM, mainstream media, is basically, and they're saying also with the police, shabby police work, and they're saying that mainstream media is putting it out there to where he can't have a fair trial. That's what a lot of people are saying. And there's more to it, but a lot of people are saying that.
I said that before when I first came on. I said that it's the media is why we believe he did it.
T-REV, I'm going to answer that question like
media
this.
is not, but Papa Sal,
Then I'll answer it after you, Regina.
For me, the media is not, because when it came down to it, what I seen on the PCA made me believe that he did it. It had nothing to do with media.
Yes. Well, I when I said we made us think we did it, I'm talking about us in general, the general public. I'm not talking about us.
I understand. Yeah, for sure. 100% agree with you on that.
You know what I mean?
How many of us? How many of us?
Now I do watch some media shit, but I don't believe a lot of the shit they say, because come on, what about the shit on News Nation where they were talking about, oh, well, somebody went in and or who was it? Xana's friend went in and felt, or not Xana's friend, maybe Ethan's went in and felt for a pulse and all this.
That's
and they're reporting.
The fuck out of here.
That's what I'm saying. They're reporting on these things, and where's the verification for that? Because you're putting this out to the general public, and that's where I have a problem. And I've made videos on this shit. Where are you getting that information? Where is this being told to you? Why are they not being named? And I've had that problem from day one, and you can run those back on all my videos. I've always spoke about that. I just don't get. I don't get why they come out, say all these things, and then our source said, well, yeah, I know.
Well, T-REV.
Listen. My mother.
Linda, listen.
My mother died. My mother died. She was found in the hallway. She fell down a flight of stairs and cracked her skull open at 4:00 in the morning. My sister woke me up at 8:30 and said, "Sal, mommy's sleeping in the hallway." And I'm like, "Shut up, get out of here. What are you talking about?" I go downstairs and I see her laying on the floor. And I'm just waking up, right? So I'm like, "Come on, Ma, get up." Thinking, she maybe had a couple of drinks. I'm like, Ma. I go down the steps. I put my hand on her back, and she's hard. My mother was hard. And that was 4 hours. My mother was very soft. I always will remember the touch of my mother. She was very soft. I put my hand on her back, and she felt like a fucking mannequin. When I looked at her face and seen her eyes squinted and her mouth open, like where you could see her teeth, like she was in pain, I was like, oh my God.
Oh, Sal, I'm so
she's
sorry.
Not sleeping. She's dead. She's fucking dead.
Bless your heart.
I was 21 years old. I was 21 years old when that happened. But what I'm getting at, because we were talking about the pulse. That was 4 hours.
Right.
They didn't find these bodies until later, right? Well, I don't know about the two that lived in the house, but people that came to the house and they were standing outside, didn't they? How many hours went by? Okay, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's say 9:30.
I think it's 11:30, 12.
11:30 is when they call the cops. But you're going to tell me that kid walked into that room, okay, and checked his pulse?
Yeah.
No fucking way. They were like mannequins. They were mummified. Blood was all over the place. You had to know they were dead.
Donna asked, death or life without parole, which would be justice?
Hey,
I'm not against the death penalty at all. I think it's deserved in most cases this big, but for someone like Brian, I do feel there's a lot of psychological warfare going on here from his part. And I think to really punish him, life in jail would be the ultimate punishment for him. I'm under the impression that what I believe is he picked Idaho knowing that he would get the death penalty. And I say that because psychologically it would make sense as to why he has to be such a controlling person. He has to be in control of everything. Even if he gets caught, he still needs to have some type of control over it.
Right.
So my thinking would be that he purposely picked Idaho, knowing that he would get a death penalty if he got caught, but then psychologically to him it doesn't bother him because he's still in control of it. He wants to die at the end. He doesn't want to live his life in prison thinking about what he's done.
Then
He wants it to be over with, you know?
Why didn't he just plead guilty then? Why didn't he
Because
plead
it's part
guilty?
of being in control. He has to be in control. Don't say anything. You're in control.
See, I think he went one step further with it.
I get you.
I think he went one step further with it. I think this man is playing games. I think he intentionally chose Moscow and Bill Thompson as his prosecutor because he would avoid death. I mean,
I don't give him that kind of credit. I really don't. Everybody with these like Perry Mason type of fucking things where I think he did this or I think he planned this. He left the sheet there on purpose. He took the ID. Nah. He fucking.
Oh no, he didn't mean to leave that damn sheet.
You know what I mean? He didn't want to get caught.
He didn't want to get caught.
Absolutely
I agree.
not. You know, I think he's a fucking. I can't.
Everybody in chat said sorry for your loss, Papa Sal.
Oh, thank you. I love the family. I really do. I love you guys so much. Much. Since I've been out here
back
in West
to the
Virginia.
question. Back to your question a while ago about being a parent. I'll answer that question for you. Let me put it to you like this: if somebody hurt one of my babies, they better hope the fucking cops get them before I do.
I said the same thing. I would be the same way. I would be the same way.
They better pray to God. They better pray to God because the police is the only one going to keep safe.
Yeah. And that's what I meant by imagine if the evidence where this guy walks, imagine.
My man Goated is going ham in here. He said the privilege in this case is crazy. White man accused of killing his own. Y'all find a way for him to be framed, but was just blaming a black dude on some random ass white girl for it last week.
Thank you.
I can't argue with that stance.
Bing bong.
What the fuck is it? What is that? What are you talking about?
I can't argue with the stance. I can't argue with that stance. That's a fair stance from that I can't argue with.
I can't argue with what Goated said either.
Alice, tell him.
What?
The privilege in this case is crazy. White man accused of killing.
Well, that last week everyone was saying it was Demetrius and that Emma Bailey chick that did all this. You know, everyone ran.
Remember in the beginning, they thought Jack did it. They thought everybody.
Jack the Cord, Jack Showalter. Yeah. I mean, I was on that train of thinking, who could be the suspect? Okay, well, they caught this guy 7 to 9 times. Why not frame him? If they're gonna frame anybody, why not frame the guy who called him, who they called multiple times?
That was around the beginning of the time I came on with you, T, and I told you, I said, I got a feeling it's going to be somebody we don't even.
Well, I mean, just I know, but just think about this. I know that's the time you came on, but in general, it'd be so much easier to frame him because what do some people do in some of these murders that I've seen in a lot of different cases? They, will kill a victim and use their phone to text them or call, and you know what I mean, to make it look like.
Of course.
You get what I'm saying? To make it look like they were calling for help or whatever the case may be. I believe how many cases have I seen that? And I could probably say I can count over my hands how many cases I've seen that type of shit. And now, maybe not to the magnitude, but text message or call in general.
You know what? Talking about a lot of explaining to do. I want to know why it took so fucking long for those kids to call the cops. You found the bodies, let's say at 9 o'clock, 9:30, 8:30, 9, whatever. You don't call them until 11:58.
Yeah.
What?
Sorry.
I'm dying to hear that explanation.
9:30.
Sorry for
Hey,
the loss
Papa
of your
Sal.
kids, Lee.
Who
Hey,
says
Papa Sal.
minority?
What?
Hey, Papa Sal.
What?
Let me ask you this in response to that. If you've been out all night partying
Thank you, Regina.
and the cops have already been called to y'all's house for noise complaints a whole bunch, do you want to be the roommate that calls the cops because you heard some crazy shit like you've heard all the time? Do you want to be the roommate that calls the cops and gets kicked out? And not only that, taking into account they were out partying all night. It's 4 o'clock in the morning when this goes down. They're already half asleep.
All
I think
right.
they
mean,
fixed
But
that.
by
I
eight,
think that time was them sleeping. It's
I
that
do
simple.
too.
Midwest girl said the state has to present evidence to a jury, probably the trial of the century. Do we really think they are going to try and convict BK on trumped up evidence? Just my opinion.
They're not.
no,
Mm-mm.
no.
The
And y'all,
Elantra is seen leaving at 4:20 is when they departed, and that audio from the neighbor house that's in the affidavit is at 4:17. So you can't tell me that there's going to be a whole bunch of white Elantras with no front license plates driving within those 3 minutes at that time. So, I mean, make that make sense.
I'm sorry for the
very
loss
good
of your
point.
kids, Lee. Lee, I'm sorry for the loss of your kids. I did read that comment, and our hearts go out to you on that too. I know
Oh,
that.
I'm so sorry, Lee. Wow.
Yeah.
I think people have to realize, though,
Couldn't
also
imagine.
that
God, I can't.
a lot of times, like, this seemed like such an, how can I put this? We haven't had such a horrific crime
Randy
like
Fur.
this in a long time. So I think I learned a big lesson not to ever, jump to conclusions until there's been evidence and someone is behind bars, supposedly until trial. But, I think we all thought it was just the typical crime of passion murder. And then when we all really started to see what all was done and everything, and then finally Brian got caught. I mean, hindsight is 2020 that this psychopath was even out there. From up until, 8 o'clock that night until 10 a.m. the next morning. Who would have thought? I'm with Regina. If I party till 4 a.m. at that age, I'm going to crash out and I'm not going to wait till 10:30 in the morning. And honestly, if I wake up and I'm kind of like half out of it and walking through the house and may see some shit that's kind of really fucked up, and run to maybe Bethany and bang on the door. And from what I understand, the two roommates, one of them was attempting to dial 911 as they were running out of this home screaming.
That's why the door was left open. Yes.
And
right.
that Dylan passed out, and there was a young couple walking their dog who came upon the scene at the same time as some other students.
Yep.
And, it just became this real big fuck fest of who called 911, which we don't really know yet. So a lot of people are blaming the roommates when honestly, I honestly think they were damn dead asleep. They were just asleep.
No, I
don't think there was a delay. I don't think they had one freaking clue.
No. I'm talking
what
about
happened.
Once they left the house. Now, hold on. Back up a little bit. I'm not saying that Bethany and Dylan waited. I'm talking about when they went outside and they were fainting and screaming and doing what they were doing. Let me call Dave. Let me call Jack. They're calling their friends. I get it. But once the crew, or the gang all arrived at the house, it wasn't until 11:58 that they called the cops. 11:58. I need to know the reasoning behind that. And I know what you're going to say. Well, they didn't want to get
protected. Sue the shit out of them.
But do we know the exact time that those girls woke up?
No, we don't.
That's what I'm saying.
We don't.
What if they woke up at 11:35?
No, because the guy walking the dog, he had to know what time it was, and I'm sure they're going to call him as a fucking witness too. Okay. He knew what time it was. This was early in the morning. They woke up for whatever reason. Okay.
No,
And listen,
look,
I've been
somebody
high. I've been
Sal.
high and stoned, and I did things on the weekend that sometimes when something happened, man, I fucking snap right out of it. No matter.
Don't make me slap that fucking phone out your hand.
That's right. That's right. I snap right fucking out of it. I'm like, whoa, what's going on? And to see or to know that they were slaughtered like that, I don't know.
But see here, Sal, here's the thing. Somebody somewhere along the line on these YouTube streets that we live on in true crime, somebody said, I know who it was, that, you know, people started to be called around 9:30 in the morning. And that's the gossip train. That's the telephone line. You know that game.
Okay.
You say, I want a piece of gum. And by the time it gets to the 20th person, it's like, my iguana likes lollipops. So the bot, you know, so nobody really knows what time Dylan woke up nor Bethany. Nobody knows that. I know for a fact.
They know it? Wait a minute. Hold on one second. Don't you think the cops, when they questioned Dylan and Bethany, they looked at their phone to see who they called at what time?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
They will.
Okay?
They will.
That's how they know the time.
They will.
Okay.
They will. And
Cops
I guarantee you they will. But it would not.
And
could
you imagine the questioning? Could you imagine the way how aggressive they probably were? Like, come on, why didn't he kill you? Why didn't he do this to you?
Of course.
I mean, for hours.
Because you have to imagine these are young kids. Like,
Thank you, Anita.
They've never experienced anything like this. I'm sure it was like from what I remember, the earliest reports, and there wasn't really a time given. It was just that there was a young couple who was walking a dog back on the back road in the back, and they saw the commotion of Dylan and Bethany running out of the house screaming, and that then Dylan fainted, and as they ran and came upon him, they took over the phone call. And it's very typical to have an unconscious person. They say that for like literally everybody and everything nowadays. Okay. But no one ever really set the time except for what you're talking about, 11:58, when the police call was made and, there was an unconscious person. I have no doubt, and I don't know, Regina, maybe I don't know. If I'm partying till 4 a.m. and I crash, I may not wake up till 11:15, 11:20. I may lay in bed till 11:30 before I even get out of the bed. It's a Saturday night. You're tired.
I'm sorry for those who don't. I'm sorry for those who don't agree with this, but I have always believed that Dylan was involved. I question the roommate still myself. So I mean,
a lot of people
you believe that Dylan was involved too.
I don't. It's not that I believe that Dylan was involved, Papa Sal, but I just don't buy coming face to face with a guy in a mask. I mean, maybe it's explained at trial, and I'm convinced, but I'm yet convinced of the innocence of that. I'm just being honest.
T-REV, before COVID-19. Before COVID-19, seeing someone with a face mask on would have been very alarming. But post-COVID, man, I still see people, and they got those black over-the-ear face masks. They still wear them.
I saw one yesterday.
Yeah, but we're talking about dead of night.
Yep. In a college community where kids walk around with face masks on all the time.
No. Dead of night in my house.
Okay.
In my house.
Papa Sal.
But not just your house, the roommate's house too, that have company over all the time.
But I'm talking about the person that's seen it, Dylan. I'm talking about her. She, come on, really? Okay.
So Papa
who the fuck is this? And she didn't stay, and she stuck. She was concerned enough to crack the door, but when she seen him leave out the sliding door, why wouldn't she go and check and say, "Hey, you guys all right? Who is that?" Or what was that? What was all the commotion? And believe me, there was commotion. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. those kids were fighting for their lives.
They were.
And nobody was fucking sleeping. You cannot tell me that. That house was they were screaming. Come on.
Now, Papa Sal, I've had an experience before where I went to visit my much older sister in college, and she lived in an off-campus sorority house. That was, I think there were like 12 girls that lived in this house. It was a 3-story house. Anyway, regardless, I cannot tell you the amount of people walking in and out 24/7 of this house. Some were partying, some were going shopping, some were going to lunch. It's a revolving, like,
I got you. I know.
it's like
yes,
like Mardi Gras nonstop on a weekend is what it's truly like.
I got
and
it.
I
But
just
she got up 3 times, bud. 3 times. So okay, you get up the first time and figure, okay, well, they're probably doing something upstairs. Well, they're probably second time. What made her get up the second time? If it's such a party house, why was she so concerned? She had a figure, well, it has to be one of their friends. But the third time, that's the kicker. The third time. And she was in a frozen shock phase, which means she didn't think it was a party, a party member. She didn't think that. Okay. She was shocked.
So Papa Sal, I have one response to that, and then Regina, I'll shut up. Okay. I remember when that very first. Don't
worry. I'll slap Regina for you. Don't worry about it.
I remember when do y'all remember when that very first came out, and there was all this question about this dude who claimed to be Dylan's boyfriend, who said that the police put those words in her mouth, frozen shock, and he said that's not how Dylan felt. That's not how Dylan meant for it to sound. That they made it sound like that when it wasn't really like that.
I remember
and
that.
I always remember that. I will always remember that.
Yes, I remember that. But who said that? Where did it come from?
It was Dylan's boyfriend, supposedly, and I think he called in
right?
and disguised his. No, don't y'all remember him like making one or two? He appeared somewhere and he said that those were not Dylan's exact words, and that the police put that in the PCA.
Yes, I do.
Dylan's not very happy that those were the words because it insinuates something else that it makes it sound like. And that's what always bothered me.
I remember that.
Papa Sal, can I ask you something?
Go ahead.
If you're a female,
single. I'm not married. Go ahead.
No, seriously though, if you're a female, yes, and you live in a house like this with roommates,
absolutely,
okay,
yes,
and you did hear some scuffles and stuff, and you were half asleep, and you opened the door and there's someone on the other side, and you were shocked for a second, but that person didn't attack you and try stabbing you. Why would you assume they stabbed your friends to death?
I didn't say anything.
Left the house and left you be.
Well, hold on. I didn't say anything about them thinking they stabbed my roommates. I'm not saying that. I would want to know what the fuck is going on. That's what I said. What the fuck is going on? What happened? Who was that guy?
But maybe she was so tired and I'm sure she feels awful about it now. But what if she was just so tired she really didn't give a fuck what her roommates that were loud all the time were up to?
You know something? You hit it on the head. Yeah,
I agree.
True words. She's gonna regret this for the rest of her life.
Bingo.
For the rest of her life.
She doesn't.
Okay, let me put it to you like this, Papa Sal. My best friend Kevin, I just went to his grave today and visited with him. My best friend Kevin died on my birthday. He called me the night before, okay? He called me the night before, and he wasn't making any sense to me at all, telling me to come over, okay? And I had previously told him that I had big plans for my birthday and stuff,
Doesn't that suck? Yeah, doesn't that suck?
Listen to what happened.
Yeah.
Okay, I get so irritated with him because I think he's drunk calling me that I turned my phone off for the night. I go to his house between 4:45 and 5:30 in the morning. I don't remember the exact time.
Right.
But I'm standing outside his door, beating on his door, calling him. Okay. And at that time, then I realized something was wrong because I could hear his phone ringing inside. Okay. But he wouldn't answer the door. I called the police and had them do a wellness check. Nobody ever got back to me. A few hours later, I called the police station again and was like, y'all haven't got back to me. They transfer me over to the hospital because his mom is a nurse. And she tells me that Kevin is in the morgue because he overdosed.
Sorry.
Hindsight is 2020. It didn't sound to me like Kevin was overdosing on his schizophrenia medications. That's not what it sounded like to me. It sounded like he was drunk.
Right.
Yeah.
I carry that with me every day for the rest of my life. And I know that Dylan and Bethany are carrying a burden very similar to mine for the rest of their lives.
How about Jack? How about the boyfriend, Maddie, and Kaylee tried to call? She was leaving for Texas the next day. She was ringing him, what, 5 times? She gave the phone to Matt 6 times? No matter what, no matter how many times. This guy wakes up and finds out she was slaughtered.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, fuck. But, you know, looking at that, you know, there's no way. This was a regular night. No way. They just came back from the bar.
You know?
Everybody went home. But that poor kid, that guy, is going to regret that for the rest of his life.
The rest of it, you know?
And he did nothing wrong.
And something else, everybody's like, oh, there had to be loud screams and stuff.
No.
I'm going to put you back on the Ted Bundy case here because he went into a sorority house
and he murdered
a whole bunch of people very loud.
He clubbed them. Them. So they were in their bed and he's boom with a fucking tree log. So nobody's going to be talking. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but then he went back the next morning and saw people's heads off and put them on the freaking mantle and left again.
Yes, the guy was a fucking serial motherfucker.
He was out of his fucking mind, you know?
Absolutely.
So take into account how long he had to go back and remove heads and put them on mantle. Go back and look at that. Go look at the times and stuff, because if you look at it, and this is maybe just another coincidence, but Ted Bundy's amount of time that he had to go back to his crime scene and do all that kind of coincides with Koberger's time that he had to go back whenever they know he went back. Okay. And I think it was after the sheet.
All right, excuse me. T, I'm going to break every bone in your face if you keep interrupting me. Okay, I'm gonna break every fucking bone.
If you fucking thought I was interrupting you, pal, you need to play this fucking live stream back. You hear me? You'll find out what interrupting is.
You sound like my cousin
I'll take you down
Frankie.
to fucking Bronx and take care of you right now.
T-REV, you have got to get a merch shirt with Papa Sal saying I'm gonna break every bone in your face.
If you thought I was interrupting you, pal, run that stream back right now. You hear me?
I'm gonna punch you in your neck first. I'm gonna punch
I've
you in
been
your
quiet
neck.
as a fucking cockroach.
I love you, T. I love you, brother.
I've been quiet as hell. You see something about interrupting. Get you fucking
right now, there's someone in chat.
And when we go have that picnic, I'm gonna slap you in the face with a steak. I'm going to take a piece of steak off the grill and I'm going to slap you in the face with it.
While it's still warm, at least it ain't a cold steak slapping you in the face.
Yeah. No, but come on, really. I get the Ted Bundy thing. Nobody followed Ted Bundy better than me. I was fascinated. I was fascinated with this guy and the charisma he had and the way he sat up on the stand and, you know, smiling and laughing and you know, like this wasn't me. This wasn't me. What fucked him up was he bit that girl's tit or her ass, and the teeth marks fucked him up. Okay, they matched the fucking teeth marks. That fucked him up. But I also watched the tapes the night before they executed him, and he came clean with 30 of the murders. 30 murders. I mean, that's just what he's saying the police think it was over 100. I mean, the guy. But again, and as much as people want to say he's like Ted Bundy, don't give him that much credit. Don't give him. Ted Bundy escaped for 30 years. He was doing
No.
Years. This guy did it
I'm
one
in
night
no
and he
way.
got fucking caught. He got caught first night. Boom, you're dead. Really?
Papa, I'm not in any way implying that Koberger is like Bundy. I'm just saying if you look at other case aspects of similar things happening where multiple people have died, which Ted Bundy is a very good reference to that.
Yes.
With what he did in the sorority house.
But people compare him. People, and I'm not saying you or anybody on this panel, but again, in general, the world, we all, we're comparing him to Bundy.
But aren't we comparing him more psychologically, mentally like Bundy?
Right. I guess because he had a law degree. He had a law degree. Yeah. Bundy had a law degree. He knew his way around. He defended himself in fucking court. I know. But
I mean, listen, I think every girl out there would agree. I mean, he's not my type of dude, Koberger, but there's a reason women would not date him or be with him. He was creepy. He was weird, right?
Well, yeah. I wouldn't date him. I know
that, and I think that's why they equate him with Bundy. They both have that sort of like semi-handsome, kind of educated look about him, athletically built, and then luring them in that way. But psychologically, I think their brains were also kind of in the same messed up manner. So I think maybe that's where they're coming with the two.
I tell you what, Bundy was pretty fucking slick, you know.
He was slick.
I mean, to put a cast on your arm and ask a girl, "Can you help me with my canoe?" I can't do it. Or see a girl walking up the street, he's on crutches or whatever, and then drops his books. You know what I mean? And she'll help him.
Yeah, because you got to think about something else. Who the hell's going to go canoeing with a broken arm?
They don't think like that.
Right. These are just young kids, like we're talking about, young kids.
Young kids.
You know, they're being friendly and they want to help out.
He played that game for 30 years before he got caught.
Yeah.
30 years. He doesn't even remember all of his victims.
Right. And he went home to his girlfriend afterwards. That's the kicker. These guys go home and they sleep with their wives or their girlfriends, and nothing happens to them. Nothing happens to them for some reason. You know?
That's a fact.
We turn it down. I can't hear.
Well, it's been
Sosa.
Turn it down. I can't hear.
Yeah, Sosa's over here chilling. I'm about to I gotta take off though.
Come on, don't be a fucking deadhead. We're all into this shit now. All right, you take off, we'll take over. Go ahead. We're gonna call. Let's do the Papa Sal after hours. The Papa Sal after hours show. This is the after hours show with Papa Sal.
The after hours show with Papa Sal. Is that what?
No, go ahead. I'm
afraid.
Knocking on caps and breaking bones in the face.
I'm afraid things will get out of, order here.
What happened? What happened? Fucking phone. Go ahead. Do it again. What?
Nah, I said I'm about to take off. I do gotta go take care of some shit.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I've enjoyed being here, T-REV. It's been fun.
Yeah.
Yes, T-REV. Thank you so much for the invite.
I appreciate you guys.
I think it's important for everyone to know every aspect of this case, including the people representing the state and the defendant. So
yeah,
I appreciate that.
I appreciate you guys coming up. We'll be on again. I'll probably be on again tomorrow.
Thank you, T-REV.
You know what I would like to know, T-REV? You know the woman who called in who took Xana to all her gymnastics classes?
Yeah, Angel.
I'd really love to hear more about Xana. Like, I'd like to know where did she get her name and just a few more questions. I don't know if you can email her about those and maybe you can find out.
Yeah, hopefully I can get in touch with her again.
Because I think Yeah, I think we all support her and understand where she's coming from. But I always wondered how Xana got her name.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I'll definitely, if she's
I'd love to
listening,
find
reach
that
out to me, email me.
I think
Yeah, I'd
she's
love to hear more from her too.
Angel something in the chat. I think Carmen knows who it is, or Delana.
A wonderful, wonderful lady.
Thank you guys. Thank you everybody in chat. I'm about to take off though. I love you guys. I love you. I love you. I love you.
We love
Thank you,
pal.
shout out Rev Gang. I love you guys. Love you, T-REV.
Everybody in chat.
Papa Sal.
Love you guys.
Love you guys.
Love you.
It's sad that it's,
Love you too.
you know, that's him 100%. I mean, without me hearing his voice, I'm like, you know, it's unconfirmed. But if you got friends that knew him and grew up with him saying it's confirmed, then I gotta say, hey, yeah, this is probably Brian Koberger. But you know, I did send it into the FBI. I did clip that. I also went through 80,000 phone calls, found the number, sent it into the FBI as well, and they have that, and hopefully they get down to that information.
Good. Do you know that they are in receipt of it? Did they come back to you at all?
I know they have it. I never got an email back yet.